Welcome to Paperweights, the podcast where two self-proclaimed gym rats and shooting enthusiasts delve into the world of literature with a sprinkle of humor. Although their biceps could crush a walnut, don't let that intimidate you. They also have a nerdy side. Mike and Brandon have a voracious appetite for reading, particularly in the fantasy genre, and they want to share their passion with you. So grab your protein shake and your favorite novel and join us for a humorous and insightful journey into the world of books with Paperweights.
Welcome back to another episode of the Paperweights. I am your host, Brandon.
And Justin.
Justin, so yesterday I had another fantastic day at the Renaissance Festival. And I rarely buy anything, but I bought myself a nice little handcrafted pottery mug that's got all the polyhedral dice on it.
That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, nice little colors. I like it. It kind of looks like a chalkboard, but it's actually like painted on there and then a little glaze put on. So they said it won't come off. But
that's good.
Yeah, I am not drinking coffee tonight. I've got a little bit of bourbon in here, so it should be a nice little nightcap for us. For me, anyway. I can't share it with you. You're too far away.
Unfortunately.
So, yeah, I caught up with the sponsor, Mudcat Whiskers, at his booth at the Renfest. So, if you go there, Louisiana Renaissance Festival, he's set up near the Compass Rose Pub. You can tell him I sent you or not, but but speaking of him, he does sponsor us, so you can visit his website if you don't live in the area to visit him at the Renaissance Festival, www.mudcatwhiskers.com. And he sells an array of products, including beard wash, beard conditioner, beard oil, beard balm, beard butter, fiberglass combs, and soy wood wick candles. He also has, it's like a shampoo beard body bar. So it's almost like a little bar of soap almost. And it comes in scents, not every single one, but most of them. And so use code Paperweights at checkout to get your beard or facial hair or body smelling great, or your house if you like the candles. So, how'd you feel about this week's reading, Justin?
It was fine. It was good.
Yeah, I liked it. I'm looking forward to part 5. So,
yeah. I mean, it was kind of I don't know, slower parts. Kind of weird. I still don't really know how I feel about the cognitive realm stuff, but we'll to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Just very weird.
It is very weird. I was thinking about that too. I was like, okay, these people just moved from like where they've been their entire lives, and all of a sudden in this new space they've never seen before, and they're completely chill.
Yeah. It really reminds me of if you've ever read, probably not, The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath by H.P. Lovecraft.
No.
Basically, it's very much the kind of realm. I think he probably took some, but it's like basically it's like dreams and like they have like cities and all sorts of weird shit happens and stuff. I don't know, it's weird, but it's not bad. It's just kind of strange.
It reminded me of The Great Hunt. So the whenever they used the Waystone in The Great Hunt, it was in the shadow world, and they traveled to another spot and then came out. Just kind of reminded, had kind of the same vibes there. Mix that with the ways a little bit as well. Kind of danger element. So
Yeah, I don't really know quite how it's gonna shape for the larger plot of this book, but I'm interested to find out.
yeah, I am as well. So All right, well, let's touch on the epigraphs real quick. Um, so we got some good information, and basically we get information from the book that Shallan had picked up in part three, Hessi's Mythica, and it basically talks about all the unmade. So we get names of eight for sure, eight unmade, and then a question mark on the ninth one. She mentioned the author mentions that she tried to separate fact from fiction, and that some of that information may not be accurate. And a lot of these unmade we've met already on screen, or seen the effects of. Which Yelignar was the first one that she mentioned, and we just saw him or her in part three take over Queen Aesudan, and we have Ja Anat. Um, Yelignar is interesting because it mentions that she might have the like all of the surges, the power of all of the surges. Um, and then something about swallowing. Oh, three. So three legends found mention swallowing a gemstone uh, to transform a Voidbringer into an extremely dangerous enemy. Um, Maybe we'll see that on screen happen. Whatever this dangerous enemy could be. Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Ja'anat, as we know, is the one that kind of touches and changes Spren. Um, Maybe she prevented our group of heroes from dying when they used the Oath Gate. It's yet to be seen. Um, then we have Moloch, which we know grants visions of futures and was responsible for most of the death rattles. Ashurtman, which is the revel, heart of the revel, kind of the unmade of indulgences, and Nurgle, which is the unmade that causes the thrill. So those three are kind of like forces. They're described like as mindless forces, whereas all the other unmade kind of have some individuality and personality. Um, I have, excuse me, I have a theory about Boado Mishram. Like I
Yep.
feel like this could be Odium's equivalent of the Stormfather, or possibly the Night Watcher, if we're thinking the Night Watcher is like kind of the same type of entity attached to cultivation as Stormfather is um, to honor, which is interesting. So, like, Stormfather is a Spren, and we know that Spren are kind of like ideas or concepts of things. So, like, Stormfather is like might be like that concept of a god, but isn't actually a god. And that's how like the bondsmith or Dalinar is able to bond.
Yeah, so from what I understand, it's kind of like the people of Roshar worship honor. So that idea of honor created the Stormfather.
Okay.
Like they're the way how everybody worshiping him and thinking of that idea created the Stormfather. Because honor was an actual person or something, a shard
Right.
bearer. So like everybody worshiping him, and probably all the people worshiping Odium created all the different unmade, I'm guessing.
Okay.
So that's what I'm guessing. But I mean, that's what he says. That's why he's like I'm the shadow of the Stormfather, because it's just the people's idea of honor created the Stormfather.
That makes
And
sense.
then I'm guessing the Night Mother is the same thing, but for cultivation.
Right. That's how I kind of feel. Like
Yeah.
the Night Watcher. Although in these epigraphs, there's one that mentions I'm butcher the name Chimarash or Shimorash, the Dust Mother. Um, and it's mentioned that she has the most varied lore around her, and that's on chapter 108 if you wanted to look. Um, and Hesse says, I do believe she is not the Night Watcher, contrary to what some stories claim. So. It would be interesting if the Night Watcher is an unmade, and then maybe the Stormfather is an unmade, if that's the case. If Night Watcher, because we feel like we would definitely feel Night Watcher is attached to cultivation in some manner, right? Like,
Yeah, because well, I think we have it confirmed because Lift is there, and then the Stormfather's like, yeah, she has her stinker on her, and of like of cultivation. So
well, she is all Lift is also bonded to a cultivation spren. Like Wendell is a
yeah,
cult.
but he says something like she's able to trick me by like making her be able to get into my visions and stuff.
Okay, okay.
I'm
And
I'm
then
pretty I'm pretty sure they're what they say they are. Those two.
Night Watcher and Stormfather.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I mean, maybe it's a red herring or something.
I mean, they they're definitely who they say they are, but it could be one of those things where it's like, oh, nobody would believe if they were actually unmade.
Yeah, I mean,
Because the unmade are Spren, right?
but they come from Odium, pretty sure.
Oh, oh,
I mean, yes, we don't technically know, but
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, even here, it doesn't quite say. I mean, they're not simply spirits of the void. They're each a specific kind of spren endowed with vast powers. So I think
yeah,
it,
I mean, like we don't know about the other one, but the Stormfather, we kind of have to take that the book has told us everything, and we know who he is. Like we know he's a part of, he's the Sprint of Honor, and he's able to grant down our the visions of honor. So it'd be kind of weird if he was like an unmade, unless all like the Super Sprint are technically unmade.
yeah, that's what I was proposing.
Yeah,
Is that all these?
if they're like a class of Sprint instead of like a anti Sprint or something.
Yes, yeah. Uh, and then of course she mentions Reshafir or Rashafir, the Midnight Mother, who we saw Shallan scare off. And then a question mark on this Die Ganarthus. Um, don't know anything about it other than its name is mentioned. And then, of course, the information that the reason that they believe there are only nine unmade, or there are nine and not eight, is because it's asymmetrical and that number is often associated with the enemy. So it's Roshar's 666. So, but yeah, I mean that's stuff I pulled from the epigraphs. Thought it was a good use of world building, just little extra tidbits. So
Yeah, that's cool. Uh, one of the more interesting groups of them.
yeah, I saw that the next part five is the epigraphs have to deal with Isla Steel, which was that that document that stated that they translated from Dawn Chant that said that humans were the original Voidbringers. So that one should be interesting as well.
Hmm.
All right, well, we can jump into the chapters, starting with chapter 88.
All right. Voices. Dalinar Kholin flashback. Um, he's um he's with Gavilar. And yeah, he's still struggling with doing war crimes. It's been 3 years. Um, and they have you know, since the rift, they've been using the rift as like intimidation, so it's been kind of chill since then. And his reputation with Blackthorn and all that craziness. Um, And he's still having PTSD from like burning bodies and stuff. So like fire is causing him smell burning corpses and stuff. He's now kind of become the Gavilar we know from the prologue, where he's like basically a drunk. Um, he just that's the only thing that can kind of keep the screaming down. And he's like searching for booze basically, and he he let's see what is it? He finds that beggar and gets the booze from the beggar. Who may be something I don't know. Um, and
Yeah,
then
I'm pretty sure this beggar is one of the heralds.
could be. Um, and then he kind of hears them talking about him, and they all know that he's kind of drinking, and they want him to like come back, not be so damaged, and he kind of just drinks himself to stupor. But also he saw Adolin, and Adolin was like, "I'm a duelist now," and he was doing some stuff. That's kind of basically what happens.
Yeah. So I like yeah, the beggar starts talking about voices he hears. Um and Dalinar asks him about it. And so some of the voices, he says, soft today, they chant. So the voices are soft today. They chant about ripping me apart, eating my flesh and drinking my blood. And he goes, which one got to you, little child? Ahu asked. The black fisher, the spawning mother, the faceless? Moloch is close. I can hear his wheezing, his scratching, his scraping at time like a rat breaking through walls. And we also, so I don't know if you recall, there was um, a beggar the night that, so you can go back to prologue of book one. Seth walked by a beggar who said, "Have you seen me?" Uh, and he was like, he was questioning whether this guy was crazy or just drunk. And Seth was like, "Oh, okay, he's drunk." But I think he's just a crazy herald. He was there that night because here he you hear him saying, "Have you seen me?" And the beggar in the prologue said, "Have you seen me?" Um, and it was so I think I wrote two different quotes here, one from book one and one from here. But a man with a long gray and black beard slumped in the doorway, smiling foolishly. Though whether from wine or a weak mind, Seth could not tell. Have you seen me? The man asked with slurred speech. He laughed, then began to speak in gibberish, reaching for a wineskin. So it was drink after all. Yeah, so that was the quote from the prologue of book one. So tying it in here. So uh and then I said immediately after that in the prologue of Way of King, Seth passes the statues of the heralds, noticing that Shalash slash Ash's statue is missing. And I think they mentioned that in this chapter as well. They like to mention that Ash's statue is missing
Yeah.
from the palace in Kolinar for whatever reason.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
Uh,
So
we're gonna get a POV, like next part.
yeah, we're gonna get Ash. About time we get some more heralds.
Yeah.
Pre-
Um,
Pretty sure we might have seen all of the heralds on screen at this point, but
like
not have known.
10 of them. I don't know. Maybe.
We know
I
for
mean, well,
sure
we
where
haven't
three of
we
them
haven't
are.
seen the Mad King, but we've heard of him.
Right. We haven't seen him on screen, but he's mentioned we know where he is. So,
Yeah, it's possible. All right. Yeah, that's cool. I forgot about that dude from the prologue, so that's good to know. Yeah, so he's something.
I just don't know which one he is. I mean, it'd be easy if it was like, oh yeah, this one herald was
Well,
mad, but
no, he's not Nail.
he is not Nail. He is not
Do we
Ish
have? Yeah.
or Ishi.
Yeah, because that's the Mad King, right? Well,
Yeah,
I guess he could have gone and become the Mad King.
he could have.
Not
Uh,
it's not Talonat.
yeah,
And
it's
there's
not Talonad.
so there'd be two other men because it was half
It
and
could
half.
it could be Talonad though, because Wit went to Kolinar.
Yeah, but we know when he arrived, and it was after book one. Because
Talonad?
yeah,
Well,
because he's in the prologue of book one or epilogue of book one.
did he walk up to the gates from outside?
Yeah,
Or
he
did he
like he
come
like
from
he like fell from heaven,
Okay.
like cut through the the gates and like walked in. He was like, "Hello, friend."
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to remember all those things though. But
Yeah, that was like very into book one. So I doubt the epilogue of book one was before the prologue of book one, which would have been crazy.
no,
Um,
absolutely. It's I don't think it's after the events of book one. So
yeah, but yeah. Mm, cool. Yeah, so we have two two male unknowns. So he's probably one of the male unknowns because there's five and five.
right. So we know Nail, Talonat, and Ishi, and so then
Yeah,
there's two others.
two.
Okay.
And then I guess this is on Ahu, and then
Ahu.
a separate guy. All right. You want to move on?
Yep.
Very cool. We're starting to get some heralds. Get a cool map of Shadesmar.
Did
Um,
you put that side to side with the
no,
map of Roshar and match it up?
does it match up?
Yeah, it matches up pretty well.
Be funny if it didn't. Um, this is a Adolin and Shallan POV. They are in Shadesmar after being shunted through the Oath Gate. You know, they're in damnation, he thinks, but it's not damnation. It's Shadesmar. Uh, yeah, they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Uh, they're on a little bee island after um, getting dumped off in the ocean and the wake. I think that's where they're at. They're making shit, right? Yeah,
Yeah, didn't they land on a platform? Like, isn't there also a platform in Shadesmar for each Oathgate, or no?
I think so.
Because I think they started off there, and then she like
Yeah,
some
she
of
starts
them,
making like little bridges.
yeah, like she grabbed something that was like, I wrote it here. Um, it was two alternating things, but one was like
Like a door or something.
a door, and then the other was like a castle.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, we have,
oh, it
Syl
was the
and
control room. She used the
that's right.
control.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have all of our dudes, Azure or forgot her actual name. Um,
Vivena.
yeah. We have who her sword is from another planet, so it doesn't have a spread. Um, we have the sprint of Adolin's sword, Adolin, and then all the other sprint and everybody. Um, it's kind of funny when he tries to summon a shard blade, it starts screaming at him, and it's crazy. Uh, Still think he's gonna like revive it. It's gonna be cool.
That would be cool.
I hope so, because uh, it seems like what they're setting up with him, like talking to it and stuff, and like, but we'll see. Um, yeah, so they're just trying to figure out where to go. What cat? All right, and then we get some Shalot. Kelly starts doing some scouting, but like they need to keep their sunlight going. So, are you gonna move? All right, and now we over to Shalon. Yeah, she starts forming the bridges and shit so they can move around. Um and she basically starts making bridges. Um, what else?
They notice that the Oath Gate Spren are corrupted, like
Yeah,
their eyes are glowing red.
yeah. Um,
So that gives some evidence that Jean not may not have been lying. Um,
yeah. I wonder how they uncorrupt them.
yeah, I don't know.
Maybe a bondsmith like can bond them back to normal.
Maybe so.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So we switch back to Adolin. He's feeling like pretty useless because he's like basically in another dimension, and he doesn't have superpowers. But then he sees that Kaladin is once again being sad. Sad boy Kaladin's back. So he's trying to encourage him, and he's like, oh no, I couldn't save anybody, and he's very sad. And he just kind of Adolin keeps kind of talking to Kaladin, trying to get him to cheer up. And then he sees that Azur's hair is like losing color, so I don't remember that from Warbreaker, but I guess it's something. Um,
She is the princess of Tetelir, and they were able to change the color of their hair based on emotions. So, um, but also something to do with like the color, the brightness of the color of a person has to deal with the amount of breath that they're holding at that moment, and their breath can be used to do something that was hinted at in this section, but we have not seen on screen, so I'm not going to reveal. But when they use the breath, it takes color away, but they have the opportunity to reclaim that breath as well and go
this
back.
book really should have footnotes. Like it really should. Just be like, here, this is what this shit happens in Warbreaker that you need to know. And don't worry about it.
Nah, I
Yeah,
don't think so.
I think it should have footnotes. Anyway, also Aegon's like, oh yeah, well, Elhokar is dead, and that makes me heir to the throne because the little baby's too young, and that's crazy. What the hell's going on? I'm in hell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it really gets on him. He's like, wait, I'm supposed to be the king? Like I'm the king now? I did like how Aelin kind of took charge as the leader,
yeah,
um, and started like forcing them to camp when they reached the shore. Um, yeah, let's see. We did find out that so Shallan like brushes against the soul of Drahi, and she can feel his
yeah.
thoughts, uh, and knows that he feels scared that Kaladin isn't there and that he's not like ready to lead. I think lead or leave.
He's basically like, my powers are gonna disappear.
Right. And so he's kind of afraid, but we know that
Yeah,
they're alive.
at least
We
for a little
don't
bit.
know if Red Vatha and Ishna are alive.
Yeah,
We could assume they are because so far we've seen, and it's been mentioned several times that they haven't been killing the humans yet. So uh,
yeah.
probably are alive.
Might be enslaved.
And Roshar, not Roshar,
I mean,
Azure has been on Roshar for a year at this point. And at this point in the book, I wrote who was her guide. We find out later it was Wit. She came over with Wit. So
yeah. Yeah. I guess that would make Renarin heir to Kolinar, or not Kolinar, the Kholin estates. So
if Adolin is
if
heir to
Adolin
the
becomes,
throne,
if he becomes king,
if he becomes king, then Renarin would be
yeah,
heir to the princedom.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. See if what Renarin feels about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was cool that the souls of humans appear as flames in Shadesmar. And then the souls of objects appear as beads. And then we get the descriptions and see all the different spren in their full bodies as we're going through Shadesmar, and some of them are very strange. Excuse me, very strange looking.
Yeah.
So,
Know what they should do is break with tradition and make Yasna queen.
Yas Queen,
Yas queen.
Yas Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
we can move on.
yeah, we can move on. It's fun getting Shadesmar stuff. Reborn, chapter 90. This is a Seth point of view. Um, he is with the Skybreakers. He's at the fortress. He's in the Pier Lake, so he's in the Fever Keep or whatever from Downward Visions, I'm pretty sure. Um, uh, he has the talking sword, and yeah, he has to have a lot of Stormlight on hand to draw it, or else something bad happens. Um, he wants to finish his training, go back to Shinovar, and murder everybody. Um,
Which will have to be his quest, right? For the fourth
yes,
ideal.
yeah. Um, yeah, we do know that a bunch of the masters have the fourth ideal, so they can get plate. But we haven't seen them like summon it yet. And we also learn, I don't know if we learned it here, but we learned about the fifth ideal, and it's kind of like doesn't give you anything. It's just kind of like a law you make yourself, which is interesting.
Yeah, we
You
learn
make
we learn what all the ideals are. So the first one is just the ideal of radiance, which is the same across everything. Then the ideal of justice, um, and then the ideal of dedication, which you'll learn the surge of division with the third ideal, and you'll bond a high sprint at that point. The fourth one is the ideal of the crusade, which is personal vision quest. And then I wrote down, I said the ideal of law basically become the source of law. Is to me, it seems an inherent, like this would inherently only allow one Skybreaker at a time to be of the fifth ideal.
unless it's like personal law.
That could be it. But we know from a later section that Nail not only is the Herald, but he has bonded to Highspren and has spoken the fifth ideal of the Skybreakers,
Yeah,
which is interesting.
yeah,
I like when he summoned his other sword, I was like, holy shit. We
yeah.
lost we lost your video, Justin. Maybe your cat knocked it over, but while you try to get that gun, hey, you're back. I don't have to.
I'll do stupid stuff, cat. Yeah, but yeah, it's kind of they're gonna do tests and stuff with the Skybreakers to like see if they can become one, basically.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting.
God, cat.
That Key, I'm calling her Key. Um, she was a she was of the third ideal for 2 decades before speaking the fourth ideal, and we already knew that the Skybreakers were an order that existed throughout this entire time.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, for her to be one for that long, it even though we knew they were still an order, it's still like breaks my mind a little bit. Oh yeah, okay. They were there. Like what the hell were they doing? They were killing other people that were trying to bond high spread.
yeah.
And then we get the information that Nail thought Seth might skip straight to the third ideal, but that he's not there right now. Um, because he's off speaking with Talonat, maybe? No, not Talonat. He was
Oh, it's probably he's with Lyft, right? This is concurrent
there.
with Edge Dancer.
I don't think this is where he's with Lyft. I think that already happened. I think he went off. because late in the later chapter when he comes back, he tells them that he was talking with one of the other heralds. He met
Oh
with
yeah,
the other
he was
heralds.
with the God Emperor or whatever.
Is she?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
So that's where he is right now in this chapter.
Yeah.
So he's not there to let nail through. I am curious of what Key's crusade was that let her get the fourth ideal. And it was nice to finally get some laid out structure for ideals for an order. So it's not just, oh, when is it going to come? Oh, here it is. And now we've got it. We don't
Yeah.
have, like, we didn't really have anything to look forward to, like, oh, somebody's about to do this, which means they're going to get this ideal. So it's fun to have some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, since we know that there's five ideals for each order, finding out what they are and giving us some clues and context of when somebody's going to approach one is nice.
Do you think any of our main characters are gonna get to their fifth ideal, become like the embodiment of whatever like virtue they have?
Yes, I think some of ours will. Um, for some reason, I think Dalinar is going to die. Um, but I think Kaladin, I would say Kaladin and Shallan are going to make it, and Renarin are going to make it to the fifth ideal. And Lift. I would say Kaladin, Shallan, Renarin, Lift, and Seth are five that are definitely going to make it to the fifth ideal. Those are, I'm going to write this down. Kaladin, Seth, Shallan, Lift, Renarin, all make it to fifth ideal.
Eh? Eh?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It'd be fun. It'd be fun if I think Rock I think Rock will make it to the fourth ideal and Lopin as well. But for some reason I could see Lopin making it to the fifth.
I don't know. I don't know if I could see Lupin even doing the second one, like just like protecting people he hates or whatever, or the third one.
The third one is I'll protect those. Yeah, that's the one. Even if I hate them,
I don't know. Maybe.
Lopin. You can't see Lopin doing that.
Yeah.
Like
Lupin's not an honorable person. I don't know why he has an honors for him.
we're talking about the Herdazian that grew his
Yeah.
arm back.
Yeah.
Why is he not an honorable person?
Just doesn't seem like an honorable person.
He's the fucking
He's
class
he,
clown.
he's
He's
very
Jar Jar Binks.
he's very shady.
He's Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's not honorable.
I don't know.
Like Taft, or Sigil. Those I would question.
Yeah. I mean, I also haven't gotten that much of Lupin, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Chapter
I
91.
mean, definitely Moash is getting to the fifth ideal.
Okay. Uh,
The most honorable of them all.
Moash, yeah.
All right, I can go to chapter 91. Why he froze. We got
Because he
Kaladin.
believed that Moash was honorable.
Yeah. Kaladin is remembering kind of like when he froze up when he couldn't fight in Amram's army because he was like
I think this is like the
afraid of
first.
hurting people.
I think this is the first time we get like a memory that's not of the flashback character in a book.
Yeah, it's not like 5 years ago or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got his like sergeant there. He's like talking to him and stuff. he thinks that Kaladin's like afraid that he's gonna get hurt, but Kaladin's like, I was gonna hurt somebody, like that sort of thing. Um, uh, yeah, he's worried about killing people because that's what Kaladin does.
Yeah, he never
Which is,
admitted it to Tux, but yeah, basically he he was like, I realized I could kill people, and that's what scared me. I
yeah,
was like, okay.
yeah, because Kaladin's a broody little brood boy. Yeah, he's back in the present. He's still brooding. Yeah, he's still he talks with Syl. He asks if he can get the message to Dalinar that they're like okay, but she's like, if I leave you, I'm gonna like become mindless again, and she can't like do anything. Um, and then Syl's kind of sad that he's a little brood boy again. That's kind of it.
Yep, that is that chapter. It's Kaladin remembering and being sad.
Maybe the third time Kaladin is sad will be the last time.
No,
God.
no. Water
Yeah,
warm as blood.
Fireward Blood. 92. This is another Seth POV.
I
He's doing
really
it.
like the Seth POVs in this chat in this section. I do.
Yeah, yeah, they're pretty good.
I know you don't think that Seth has a redemption arc. Well, you didn't. I don't know if that's
I mean,
changed.
he's going to. I don't think it's just like Darth Vader. It's it's pretty stupid, but we'll let him do it anyway. When like you murder like 35 kids and like track down the Jedi cross generations and murder a bunch of people. You don't get to just be like, I'm sorry, and then like you're redeemed. And Seth killed, uh, in effect, hundreds of thousands of people by starting multiple wars. No, he's irredeemable, but he's probably gonna get redeemed.
Well, I
But
mean,
good thing is he doesn't think he's redeemable, which is good for him because he's not.
yeah, I don't know. I don't think he doesn't think he's irredeemable, but he definitely wants revenge on the people that made him do this for his own honor. Like people to him, he was tricked and gaslit, and they used his own honor against him to make him do these things. So, like, he believed in a certain religion or thing in Shinovar that said if they name him this, then he is bound to do their calling. And whoever it was knew that, and they took advantage of it. And then he had no evidence against what they were saying other than his own experience.
Sure, doesn't make him
So,
innocent.
I
Yeah.
mean, no,
We,
I wouldn't necessarily say he's innocent,
or redeemable.
but I understand.
Just following orders is not an excuse we've allowed for a while.
I understand him a lot more than I understand Moash.
What? Moash's things makes way more sense than Seth.
No.
What are you talking about? Moash is like, I'm gonna revenge myself against the oppressors that killed my grandparents, and I'm gonna murder this dude. Yay, that makes 1-to-1. Seth is like, I have a weird religion thing that just makes me be really sad about killing people, but I can't do anything about it. Oh no, I started 17 wars and killed 35 people, 3,000 people. Well, oh well, I guess I'm okay now because oh, I was right all along. Like, he's a bad dude. He's interesting, but he's a terrible dude.
I
He's
like
gonna get
Seth. I like Seth way more than I like Moash.
sure you can like him. He's way cooler because he has powers and he kills people. But I mean, he does not. He's way less justified than Moash in his actions.
I don't think so.
Hmm.
The thing is, so look, I think Moash was justified in his reasoning, and then he was like, "Oh shit, okay, Kaladin was right. I should not have done that. I'm more honorable than that." And then he shows up in Kolinar with the Voidbringers
Mhm.
and just murks the king at that moment just because of opportunity.
Well, no, he sees that the Voidbringers offer a maybe a better way than. I mean, Moash is also not a good dude. They're both bad people, but Moash's uh reasonings make more sense to me because it's just basically revenge and upsetting the status quo. He thinks he's doing better for the Dark Eyes and stuff. I mean, it sucks because we like Elokar now, but Elokar also kind of sucks. He was a shitty king, and
Yeah, but he was also about to be a Knight Radiant.
yeah, it doesn't automatically make you a good person.
No, it doesn't. We already know that Malata is not a good person.
Well, yeah, it's because her spread just want to kill all humans, which is kind of funny. But I mean, like, no, like Seth. I mean, he's gonna get a redemption story. That's what they're working towards. It's just I don't. I'm not gonna buy it. I'm gonna. It's like okay, every show does this, right? It's like we can bring up our prime example in this podcast, DBZ. Vegeta literally kills hundreds of people and all of Goku's friends.
Yes, Vegeta should have died.
Well, he dies multiple times, but
He should have stayed dead.
like he literally kills like hundreds of people and all like literally every one of Goku's friends and almost kills his son. And then he like marries Bulma and like he's just one of the guys now. It's like we do this everything in media. We just redeem everybody because we like the bad boys and we don't want to kill off the cool bad characters. So we just fold them in. Like Zuko at least in Avatar like didn't do that many war crimes before he became good. So like he was actually a decent example of this, but like we love to redeem people. Darth Vader, absolutely irredeemable. Killed like hundreds of kids, hundreds of Jedi's, and if you read like the, you know, extended universe stuff, was doing like Nazi shit because that's what the extended universe does for the Empire. But he's still like, yeah, we still love Darth Vader. I'm like, oh, he redeemed himself. Like,
Yeah.
like Arcane's gonna do it with Jinx. I
I
bet she's
haven't
gonna.
started watching that yet.
I bet
Not
she's
even
gonna get
season
a.
one yet. But
I bet she's gonna get a redemption arc. But yeah, I don't know. It's fun. But yeah, I mean, he's an interesting character. I'm glad to look at him. I mean, read about him stuff.
yeah.
But
All
yeah,
right, so let's talk about
92.
the chapter.
Warm water, warm as blood. This is Seth. Basically, we're doing tests in the Pure Lake for becoming Skybreakers. They've released a bunch of criminals or had them escape basically. And they're tracking them down in the Pure Lake. Um, he Seth like finds a dude and kills him. Um, uh, yeah, they're doing Nightblade stuff, Nightblood stuff. With his sword, kills the dude. They yeah. Then he basically goes back to the thing and is like, "Hey, you had the conditions to make them escape, and because of your neglect, that happened." And he draws uh the Nightblade and like kills him and like basically disintegrates him. He uses all of his Stormlight, almost dies, and then yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah, that was
Oh, he says
a lot briefer than my notes.
he says the second ideal, and yeah, we get some more hints that Warbreaker shit's happening.
Yeah, so
I wish I remember that book better, but I'm not gonna reread it.
oh, man. It was a lot better the second time I read it.
I
Uh,
just don't have time. I mean, sure, I'm sure it's a fine book. I just don't have time to read it.
you could listen to,
Yeah.
but um yeah, some of the more excuse me, sorry. Um when Seth was walking away, he was having a conversation with Nightblood. We find out Seth mentions there was a single voice in his head when he was younger and hopes that Nightblood ends up being better than whatever that was. So I'm curious to know. I'm sure we'll find out. Book five is the point of view of flashbacks of Seth. So when we get there, we might find out more about that. Um, I'm curious why Nail gave Nightblood to Seth. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, he said they were a good match. I want to know why they were a good match. And of course,
They both love murdering people.
they do. Seth does not love murdering people. He's just really freaking
He's
good
just
at it.
really good at it.
He is really good at it. And I guess that the Nightblood loves to murder people, and so it makes a good match because Seth is good at it and Nightblood loves it.
Yeah.
Seth also mentions that the Oath Stone was not magical, that he just obeyed out of honor. Um, let's see. Nightblood killing descriptions were cool, like flesh and blood puffed instantly into black smoke. It was like when he killed the nobleman.
Yeah, he like
Uh,
disintegrated basically.
Veins of black liquid crept up Seth's hand and arm. The skin on his hand, which had already been pale, had been bleached to gray white. So, um, basically, it's draining his
Yeah.
breath or his life.
He'll
I
need to
guess he
get
doesn't have breath.
guess I'll need to get some stormlight probably just pop back up.
Yeah, um, maybe because I know that breath is like something that you're born with on the planet in Warbreaker. Like only humans there are born with it because it's an effect of the shard that's in that uh world. So I don't think humans born off of the planet have a breath, but every human on that planet is born with one breath.
Yeah, so that's basically investiture, then I guess you could probably use stormlight for it. That's why you needed all the stormlight, because instead of breath, right?
Yeah, yeah. The sword will use investiture. It doesn't have to be breath.
Yeah, it seems like it's probably more um inefficient to use stormlight with it because it used like all this stuff.
Probably.
Yeah. I wonder if Seth's gonna get well, like, I mean, you think he's gonna square the fifth idea, but it'd be kind of interesting if he wasn't able to get the third one, and that's why he has the sword for like the rest of the book or the rest of the series. But I guess eventually Zio is gonna find him or whatever. Chapter 93, we'll move on. Kata. This is Adolin's chapter. Uh, he's he wakes up still in Shadesmar, of course. Um, he Uh, yeah, they're taking stock of the resources. He does a sword kata.
When he wakes up, his sword sprint is standing over him and scares the shit out of him.
Yeah. Uh, he does a sword kata. We learn that Zio is the dude from Warbreaker, probably. We learn a little bit more from Azure, that she was here for searching for a criminal. Um, and they would need to find a ship and go to cultivation perpendiculatory, or however you say that.
Perpendicularity.
Sure, that works. That's in the Horneater Peaks. That's where she crossed over with Wit. I guess Rock didn't see her, which is weird.
Rock didn't see Azure.
Yeah, because remember he met Wit at the hornier thing when he crossed over, but I guess you didn't see her.
Maybe,
Maybe a slight continuity error. You'll never know.
maybe. I mean, we could go reread it. He might have mentioned somebody else comes through, but
Maybe, yeah.
or maybe
Um,
he just cared about telling us about Wit. He didn't think this other person was important.
true. Yeah, maybe.
Because maybe they
Yes.
come through all the time, and he's just like, oh, there. But Wit was of particular notice.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, something to think about. If Azure ever meets with Rock, we'll see if they like if he recognizes her or whatever. Um, and then there's a screeching sound, and oh no, a dangerous sprint is approaching, but nothing really happens.
Yeah, her. So Azure's hair does return to color, and like she's healed. Like Adolin notices all this, so something happened. We already know, but for Adolin, he's like, man, something's different about her. Um, so he doesn't know exactly what it is. Um, and then
Yeah.
Azure says her blade is flawed and a pale copy of a shard blade. Her exact words.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. So is
Yeah, we
Nightblood is as well.
yeah, we learned that light sprint are usually guides. We'll meet them later. We need to go to a city to get food.
Yep.
Apparently there's food in the from travelers. Apparently everybody's in the cognitive realm.
Yeah, everybody is.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I really do like that there's no beating around the bush with Azure. We just get straight to it. Like, all right, yeah, she's definitely from another world.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, whenever we met Zyle, Kaladin just kept mentioning that he spoke funny and he was weird.
Um, Brandon, you've read Warbreaker recently. Does
Yeah.
Basher speak like Xyle with all the weird idioms or whatever?
No,
Okay.
but no, he doesn't speak that way in the book. Um, he's attempting to um speak and connect with Rosharan because they speak different languages. They don't all speak a common language. And so they can use investiture just like Dalinar has connection. So
Hmm.
I'm assuming I've seen other characters use connection when they go to a different world. So I'm assuming that Zyle is using connection to speak the same language, the Alethi language, and it's a
But is he?
translation error.
I mean, well, no, but he's been here for like 20 years or something.
I don't think he's been here for 20 years.
He taught Adolin the sword when Adolin was like a kid. So he's been there for at least like 12 years.
I don't think he's stayed here, I'll say. This is
Maybe.
not his first time here.
So he's
I know
boofed
that for
back.
sure.
He just boofed back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But I mean, he at least knew Adolin when he was younger because he's a sword master. We know sword masters are there when very young.
He is very old, and in Warbreaker, before the events of Warbreaker had even happened, he had already visited Roshar and came back and had Nightblood. And then it's been several hundred, if not thousands of years already since Warbreaker and Stormlight Archives.
Really?
Yeah,
So Azur's immortal as well?
yeah.
Okay,
For all intents and purposes.
sure.
Yeah, it's been a long time
And
since Warbreaker and Stormlight Archives. I think. But
Well, even more so that he knows the language then.
eh,
I mean, we probably used it at first and probably learned it. But yeah, okay, we can move on.
but I mean, a lot of what he talks is about colors. Like his idioms are about colors,
Yeah,
and so that's probably what. Like I didn't recognize him saying anything because a lot of people used color idioms in Warbreaker, so he might have spoke with color idioms,
yeah,
but it definitely stands out in Stormlight Archives because nobody uses colors in their idioms.
yeah. Makes
But what he
sense.
does do, and what Azure does, that's the same, is in, instead of damn you, like instead of saying something like damn you to hell, they say damnation you. Like they use damnation as a verb instead of a noun.
Mm.
So
Okay, cool.
chapter 94.
94, a small little bottle, or just a small bottle. 7 years ago, Dalinar, Kulin, uh, flashbacky. He is drunk, looking for more wine. He This is after he's found the Parshindi. He kind of felt more at peace with himself a little bit in the wild wilderness. Um, it's the screams don't go away, and he is you know freaking out, and they can't find alcohol, and then Renarin gives him a little bottle, and it's very cute, and he prays, and he's like, I need to stop, and then he hugs his son, and it's very sad. It's basically it.
Yeah, what main things I picked up from this, it was not too much.
It's two
Um,
pages.
yeah, Dalinar's feelings about Adolin and Renarin, that Renarin is the other one, and refers to him as an invalid. But then Renarin tells him that Evie had told him that she thought Dalinar was the most honorable man in Alethkar. And then Dalinar realizes that he's starting to hate his sons because of how much they remind him of Evie and starts pleading in his head for help as he cries in Renarin's arms.
Hmm.
So
Oh, it's
kind of a
great.
touching.
Yeah, the craziest thing about the Dalinar flashbacks is how recent his memory loss is.
True.
It's kind of weird because I guess it kind of makes sense now why he made the war go on so long. But he's only been this weird pious dude for 6 years, and then everyone in court remembers him just being a drunk for 7 years or something, and being a bloodthirsty murderer. And it's I show up to the Shattered Plains, and I'm this completely different dude. It's very strange. I thought he was this memory wipe guy for 10 years, and then he went to the Shattered Plains, and but no, it's very strange.
Yeah.
It's also very strange that Adolin and them just his abuse of them didn't color them any, and they're just oh yeah, my father was always this great warrior, and then he made us do the codes. Darn. So they don't have this it's just strange. But I guess it makes sense because you want to see the best in your dad and stuff. But
Yeah.
or Navani's not damn, I mean she damn, Downer changed a lot now that I'm in the Shattered Plains. Because last time I saw him, he was a crazy drunk that was murdering people. Hmm. I mean, I guess you probably visited him a couple times in Shattered Plains, but it's just strange. It seems like a longer change than what it
Yeah,
is.
but also I don't think I don't know. I'm getting hints that Dalinar was the more honorable between him and Gavilar, even when he was the Black Thorn. So,
I just think he
uh,
didn't care.
do what?
I don't think he really cared. He
No,
didn't
but
care about
like,
he didn't care about politics, so he didn't like double cross anybody there, but he just murdered everybody.
right. But just this idea, like a lot of what we've seen, and I think Gavilar may have hit it really well from Dalinar. And we see Yasna whenever she sees Gavilar meeting with people in the prologue of book two, right? Book
Yeah,
two was Yasna,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So she comes across Gavilar meeting with, I guess, Amaram, and she's like, "Why are they meeting?" Um, and
Yeah,
so I don't
Gavilar
think,
is super shady.
yeah, and I think he hid a lot of that from Dalinar. So Dalinar always looked up to Gavilar as the older brother, and it's like, even in this book where he almost killed him, he's like, "No, I can't do that. He has to be king. I can never be king. He has to be because he's such and such and such." But
Yeah.
I Gavilar is hiding something,
Oh,
and I think
obviously, he's a
not
son of honor.
Navani felt relief to get out and go with, um, marry Dalinar.
Yeah, it's just that he like his character did like a complete 180 in like 6 years. And like I see now why like Sadius was the way he was. Like it makes way more sense because like you're you're going crazy, but before that it's like you were a, a murdering drunk, and then you're like I show up and you're not this like honor the codes dude. Very strange.
Yeah,
I see why like he didn't have any political power because everybody's like, oh, you're kind of a drunk and whatever, and then oh, you're doing this, making this little sham of honoring the codes and stuff.
yeah, I don't disagree with you.
It's just yeah, it's just like when it was like he was like the trip to the thing hadn't happened yet. I was like, whoa, that's like way later than I thought it was. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
I like the Downer
inescapable
flashbacks.
void.
Void, yes. Kaladin. Uh, there's like an anger sprint following them. They're running away. Um, they're like trying to quell their emotions to not um do it, but Kaladin's being an angry boy. There should be sad, depressed sprint after them though, because it's Kaladin.
Yeah,
Um,
there should be depression sprint.
yeah, I wonder what they look like. Probably awful. Um, yeah.
They might look like dead eyes.
No, yeah, they're just depressed. Um, yeah, he's said that they're like abandoning Kolinar and his men and stuff, and he's like he knows us he can't do anything, so it's just making him more angry, and he's like he's all sad, angry and sad. Um, yeah, there's like weird black ferns in kind of realm, which I don't know what the plants are. It's very strange. Um, yeah, then they camp. She asks Syl about like where she lived. It was a grand city ruled by honor sprint. I think we get the name of this chapter. Um,
I think it's
and
either
then
like lasting integrity or
yeah,
unyielding integrity.
because they're gonna go to it, but then they don't.
Yeah.
Um, and then we find out that she had a man that she was bonded to that died right before the Requiem. So she was like one of the only to survive the Requiems, but she was before the Requiem. So she probably fought in some desolations and stuff. And then she kind of like survived, and then the Stormfather found her and kind of locked her away. And then they see a lighthouse on the horizon.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the description of the uh or the reveal of the anger sprint, that the boiling pools of blood in the physical realm or just their saliva drooling. It's like um
Yeah,
the stuff
basically.
about Syl having bonded Knights Radiant before and being stuck asleep on the physical realm for 1,000 years before the Stormfather found her. Um, like really gives you more like, okay, when we first meet Syl and she's coming around, she's just like this little innocent thing, learning more, just like all Spren, you know? And then getting this, and then later on when we find out more, like they call the Honor Spren call her the Ancient Daughter. And it's like, okay, she is, there's more to her than just this little innocent new thing, but
Yeah.
she's essentially being reborn, right? And it's fun finding that out and what she's going to bring to light, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if there's more of her ilk from like other orders. 'Cause it seems like there would be a pretty decent amount of you know, time where a radiant could die before the requiems happen. Before they probably don't just like turn around and rebond. It probably takes a couple of years or longer when their radiant dies. So there could be some like, you know, cryptics or something from before the requiems, which would be fun.
Yeah. Um, I'll point out here, I've really connected with Kaladin a little bit, even though, even though we're tired of him being sad all the time, but it really is like it's an ongoing thing. Like, yeah, when you read it in a book, you're like, all right, they just need to get over it. But in real life, if you ever gone through depression or had grieving or anything, it'll come up. You'll have good days, you'll have bad days, and then when you think you're over it, something hits you, and it comes back. And uh, one of the quotes in here is, "Darkness could feed off of anything. Life going well." The darkness would whisper that he was only setting himself up for a bigger fall. So like, for me, a lot of times it's like, hey, everything's going great. Okay, something has to be like my mind starts to convince me that I'm missing something, and then it causes anxiety or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, Continues on. Shallan glances at Adolin. They must be whispering about him. Dalinar sends him to protect Elhokar, or the High Prince must want to get rid of Kaladin. Um, and he even noted here, it's like, oh well, I even failed at protecting Elhokar. Um, but just this idea of second guessing every every event or every action that's going on, like, oh, is it these two people were whispering about something? Okay, I need to know. Are they whispering about me?
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
okay, somebody sent me over here. Is it because of they thought this or this or this? Um, it's just something very relatable. So
Sure. But it's also been 3 books. And I'm just like maybe be sad for like a page and then like have still comfort you or something. I don't know. I'm just kind of over Caledon, honestly. Like
okay.
it's fun. Yeah, it's good, but it's like, oh yeah, you're sad again. All right, cool. Like, I think it's like 2 1 note. It's like, oh yeah, you're sad. All right, cool. You're gonna be a little depressing to read about for like a chapter or so. Yeah,
Yeah. I do
just
know a whole lot of people have read these books and they have been in a deeper depressed state than I have ever been in. And they have found comfort in seeing the struggles and the way it's described. So,
sure, sure. Uh, I'm glad they enjoy it more than I do. And I do enjoy it. Like it was good for like 2 books. It's just the third book. And all right. Yeah, you're sad. Yeah, it sucks really bad that like, all your dudes died and stuff.
but I
Like,
don't even think a year has passed so far.
yeah, but like, 7 years has passed in my life since I've read since the first book and the third book came out. Like,
Yeah. Oh.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's just it's like kind of like a thing where I'm like, okay, I'll just kind of like skim through it. All right, yeah, you're sad, but
Aw, I read every word, Justin.
yeah, so do I. I just do it fast.
All right, chapter 96.
Pieces of a fabrial. Yeah, I'm glad, Kaladin's some people's favorite character. And I do enjoy him. He's just not my favorite character. Navani, we get a Navani POV. Um, yeah, they're going to the coalition of all the people. So Dalinar is being very standoffish since he regained his memories of burning a bunch of people, including his wife, alive. So yeah, he's being a little weird. We got all the monarchs. They bring in their own chair. It's like a Lethe tradition to like show that can do manual labor and stuff. Um, we have Bridge 4 as well. And then we get Iali. She makes Amaran bring the chair. It's kind of funny. Um, yeah, she just always has to instigate stuff. Um, yeah, they're all like bouncing ideas off of each other, trying to figure out, the best way. It's kind of just a mess because like everybody has all different goals and like strategic things they want to get from. And we get a little bit of the half shards from Terravangers. Cool. We see how those are. And then yeah, what else we got? A lot of stuff in here.
I like Sabario's comment here. He says maybe desolation should happen more often. People become more accommodating, and Navani is like, "Is it too late to toss him off the tower?"
um yeah, then she kind of starts to try to get order. So she goes to Gox and gets the Aegis to develop codes of law and bureaucracy for the alliance, kind of how it's going to function. So they'll have rules and regulations, and the Aesir are of course the best people. Then she goes to Finn, and she's like, "Hey, y'all are like the trade people. You got those stats maxed out on your skill tree. You're gonna head up the trading." And of course, we're the best warriors, so we're gonna decide where to send troops. What's up? And then Teravangian is gonna do like dealing all that shit and stuff. And then they also they're like, all right, uh, Alethkar's fallen, and then they think that Yakoved is gonna be attacked next. And then they kind of like discuss where they're gonna put their troops and stuff. And yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah, I think Teravangian was having a
Okay.
less intelligent day
Yeah.
for this meeting because he was having trouble explaining the half char shields.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, did you mention that Navani said that she needs Dalinar to be the Blackthorn for her?
Yeah.
And
I,
it's like, hey, why don't you step outside for a walk and collect yourself? Like you need to bring it back in. You're like,
yeah, you need to put your game face on.
no more of this drunken Dalinar stuff.
He hasn't done that yet, but
Really?
right? Or wait, no, mate, has he done that yet? My,
Um,
because doesn't he do that in Thalen, where the like the thrill comes up and then he goes and drinks himself something?
uh, mm,
Or is that happening?
maybe. Yeah, it hasn't yet. Yeah, I'm wrong. You're right.
Maybe.
It hasn't happened yet, but
I was like, shit, did that happen in part three? I couldn't remember.
no.
So much happened in part three. It could have.
Yeah, I think it's later because he does come out into one of these meetings and it's like, all right, I'm back.
Yeah.
He John Wicks it. He's
And
like,
then
I'm thinking I'm back.
yeah, and then Taravangian's like, "You're not back. Look at all this stuff I did for you, and I'm gonna be hiking. What's up?"
Yeah.
But that's later. Yeah, he's just messed up right now from remembering his murdering his wife and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
he hasn't doesn't have the thrill and becoming a drunk quite yet. Oh,
He
good old
became a
Dow.
drunk because he didn't want the thrill.
Yeah, because
Yes.
he was gonna murder people.
Yeah, so he decided to
The only way
drink
to stop,
instead.
yeah, the only way to stop him was to do that. All right. One sec, let me check my gumbo real fast.
Gumbo. For anybody listening that does not live in Louisiana, gumbo is a type of soup or stew served over rice that is typically cooked in Cajun parts of the country. My favorite gumbo happens to be chicken and sausage gumbo. I'm not a big fan of the seafood gumbos, but I also like my gumbos to be have a darker roux. And when you have a darker roux, more flavor comes out.
Nice.
And a roux is made with 50 parts flour and 50 parts fat. I typically use butter or oil. And then you put them in a pan, typically a cast iron skillet, and you stir that for 30 minutes or so. And you constantly stir it, not letting it burn. Because if you burn it, you got to throw it out, restart it over. But you want it to get a dark caramel color. And
Yep.
once you do that, you toss it into the stock and it thickens up. And that's what it helps give it its flavor and that thickness.
Yep. You can also just buy a jar of roux, and it's way easier. Maybe not be as good, but it's way easier.
Gyro is okay, but I like to make my own roux. But
Yeah,
now you know how to make your own roux.
it is very good. But yes, if you want to do it quick and dirty like I did today, you get jar roux.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. All right, we can move on unless we want to do more cooking time with Rock over here.
Hey, no, we don't need more cooking time with Rock.
Maybe that'll be a reoccurring segment. Chapter 97,
I just didn't really feel like
like editing.
pausing the podcast and editing it out. So it's just like, you know what?
It's
It's
good.
learning time.
Yeah, learning time. We offer many things on this podcast.
Yeah. Rhino is next, or Reno.
Rhino, I mean, my mom loves rhinos, so we'll go rhino.
We'll go with rhinos, but Reno is the smallest big city. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Reno. What's in Nevada? The biggest little city in the world. I was close.
Yeah.
I said the smallest big city.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're in Las Vegas. Kaladin and Shallan and the crew. They're just gambling away. And they lose all their money and that's the end of the book. But
All right.
actually,
See, see y'all in 2 weeks when I get back from the cruise.
yep.
In the middle.
We start off with Kaladin. Um he's having this is more flashbacks without the year moniker. Would have been kind of nice to have the years, but I guess since it's not a full chapter of flashbacks, he didn't want to do it. But somewhere before
And it
book
was
one,
also not Kaladin's book.
is that the moniker? I mean, he could still do it.
No, it doesn't fit his outline.
Well, he could change the outline.
No,
Outlines are made to be changed.
no, he can't. He just has to do this weird thing where he starts the chapter with a flashback and
But
you
doesn't
don't
say
know.
what year it is. We just
Right.
have to.
You at first you don't even know it's a flashback. You just got to read and go, okay, who are these people?
Yeah.
Oh,
Then
okay.
he remembered holding a hand of a dying woman. You're like, oh, okay, this is a flashback. But yeah, he's like remembering his one of his slave revolts. Like everybody dies. One guy gets like caught in a bear trap that's really nasty. Um,
That
yeah,
was a chick, Nalma, right?
yeah,
A lady.
yep.
And he's the only one that survived, and they kept him alive to tell and warn the others.
Yep, of course. Um, so then he remembers that he has PTSD, and then he goes and scouts out the lighthouse. He's like looking at it and trying to like he's doing a D&D perception check. Um, let's
The
see.
anticipation sprint won't leave him alone.
Yep, yeah, which is kind of nasty. They have like tongues and shit. Um,
Is that the
uh,
picture of the ones that were like, yeah?
yeah, I think so. Then he goes and sees this like this Shin man, and yeah, that's kind of he's gonna go talk to this dude. And then we have Shalon. We go back to Shalon. So she's like sketching.
I like this. Syl says that uh, cryptics mimic the fundamental. I think it was Syl that said it. It might have been no, pattern. The fundamental underlying mathematics by which natural phenomena occur. Truths that explain the fabric of existence.
Mm, yep.
Which
Because
is funny that he's so logical, but light weavers are artistic. Do you find it interesting and kind of, it's not always opposing, but typically when you think about artists, you're not thinking about academics.
yeah, I guess like knowing the natural world is able to would be really useful in weaving the illusions because most of them aren't like don't have to draw to do it, but they all tend to be artistic in nature. Yeah, it's a
True.
little. But I mean, like a lot of the sprint are very counter to the people like Wendell is very very much different from Lift, and I mean we haven't really met any of the other ones like Renarans or Yasnas that much. But I mean, still and Calvin are pretty similar, which they kind of have to be with the ideals that they swear. So yeah, it's cool. I like Pattern a lot. And
I like pattern too.
he did pick Shalon, who wants to be a scholar and stuff. So she's a little bit analytical.
Yeah, that is very interesting, and she becomes a well-rounded. I don't know if mathematics would be a great thing for her, but
Yeah.
scholarship is definitely one of them.
Mhm.
Yeah, move on to Adolin and Shalon talking to each other.
Yes. Yeah, she's talking about she's like throughout a lot of this, she's like her her like psyches are coming through, so like Vale's kind of like peeking through, and it's kind of really concerning. She's going insane. But yeah, she's talking with Adolin and what I forget what they also talk about. Oh, they're like Adolin wants more clothes, which is funny. Um,
But Shalon is concerned about Kaladin,
yeah,
and then also asks Adolin what he thinks of Azure. Um, then they get visited by a corrupt glory spread.
yeah. We get a
Which is
lot. We get
interesting.
a
It's like in front of it, it was hovered a cube. I don't know what, like, I don't know if it was part of it or if it was something it was just bringing.
Yeah, we get a lot of these like, oh no, the sprint is here, and then like nothing really happens. It's kind of funny. Like last chapter. Oh no, the anger sprint. Oh, the anger sprint doesn't do anything. Um, but yeah. So we go to Kaladin. He's talking with this Shin dude, maybe Shin man. We don't really know. Um, he wants to read his fortune and like he doesn't realize that Kaladin is a radiant because they haven't started coming back yet. They're trying to book passage for a ship, and then there's like this orb, right? And
Yeah.
Paladin touches the orb, And also like when the high storms come in, like makes the world kind of shimmer. It's pretty cool. But yeah, he touches it and he basically sees Dalinar's in danger, surrounded by nine figures. He sees as Thalen City, and he kind of like pulls himself away. So he maybe may not have seen the future, and anyone that sees the future cannot be trusted. So Kaladin is now evil, which is good to know. That's a pretty subtle way to just show that Kaladin's a bad person.
Yeah,
Um,
I know, right?
yeah. Um, they like barter for some food, and the ship's gonna take
Well,
them.
when
Hmm?
he comes back from the vision, the Shin Man asks him, "Is like, oh, are you heightened?" Which is a reference about Warbreaker. So this guy might be somebody from Nalthis, like another Nalthian, or just somebody that is Cosmere aware. Obviously, he's a human in Shadesmar, so he's got
Yeah,
to be somewhat Cosmere aware, but he might not be native to Roshar.
yeah. He seems to just be chilling there for some reason.
Yeah, and then he realizes that Kaladin is a Surge Binder.
Yeah. Um, let's see. So yeah, they start. Um, oh yeah. For all that, Shallan, she the little thing talks to her from the unmade Shahjanat, warning that Odium and stuff have minions on this side and they're gonna get hunted, and that so like there's gonna be trouble. And
Yeah, and Odium, she reveals that Odium thinks that Shallan is an Elt scholar. It's funny. It's like, although he thinks you're an Elt scholar for some reason, and I don't know why. So Odium has to have a spy
yeah,
in Uruthuro that's able to relay information,
it's Dalinar Kuen.
right?
Dal
It is. I just thought about that. Like
yeah,
like Odium, he's not all seeing. Like just like the Stormfather isn't all seeing. Like the Stormfather passes through and can see things, but he doesn't automatically know everything. Oh, hey, that's their so and so. That's
yeah,
so and so. Oh, everything's happening. He could just like see things, events. So somebody has to be relaying information to Odium. And we know that Shallan was originally telling everybody that she was an Elt scholar. And I don't think yeah, she definitely hasn't said anything publicly to counter that. She's
no,
told Dalinar what she is, and she's told her group, and then these people.
yeah, and the Ghost Bloods now.
Yeah, the Ghost Bloods know. So, um, which
So
either the Ghost Bloods could be a spy for Odium or feeding him information, but they would be feeding him false information.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, that's interesting.
could
Who the
could be the evil Radiant Mulata.
Mulata? You think Mulata is?
If her Sprins want to kill humans and Odium wants to kill humans, I could see them working for Odium.
Okay.
But other than that, I don't
What if
know.
it's Renarin? Renarin, he tells the future.
True, yeah,
He's not to
could
be
be right.
trusted.
That's true. Yeah, so Kaladin and Renarin confirmed evil.
Yeah.
That's good to know. But yeah, more cool stuff. With the Shadesmar. Oh, they're going to go to Celebrant, uh, which is a city near Rathalos, which is funny. Um, yeah, they and then they realize that um, what the city saw in his vision was Thalen City, and he wants to go to the Kaladin wants to go to the Oathgate to like zap it instead of the uh thing, the Horneater Peaks. And then the ship arrived, and then it's kind Or not into the book. Into the chapter.
Yeah, the ship's going to Celebrant. Um, let's see.
There's like a little lake up there.
And Shah Anat says something about enlightening powerful spread. And I was like, what does she mean about that? Like, she like very interesting.
So right here, right next to Rathless, is the Celebram where they're going to. Just gonna giant. I
Right.
mean, yeah. I think that was like like the Oathgate sprint and stuff. She could like turn.
Okay. And
Think it was
then Azure says, even the gods of my land catch only glimpses of the spiritual realm, and in all my life, I've only met one human I tr believe truly understood it. And he might actually be a god, I'm not sure. And I'm pretty sure she's talking about Wit. Um,
yeah.
yeah. More. Oh, the the mandras that pull the ship
Yeah.
like chols, like flying majestic chols with undulating bodies. And then we get artwork of those mandras, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, they're cool.
So, all right,
Yeah. Chapter
move on.
nine. Yeah, chapter 98. Loopholes. This is another Seth point of view. They're doing another test. Basically, they're like playing paintball.
Paintball.
Uh, and
This
then
is a really
whoever,
fun chapter.
yeah, whoever has the least amount of paint on their clothes wins. Uh, so they do paintball. It's pretty cool. Seth is like dodging a bunch of people. Then like they all go after him, and he gets like, he gets basically there's a really cool fight. I don't need to do it, but he ends up getting hit all a bunch, and he falls into the water, and the water washes away his paint, and he's like, haha, loophole, I win. And he impressed to high sprint, so he's probably gonna get uh, a sprint pretty soon. And uh, Key, I think Key is gonna be his master, but then he's about to swear the third idea, and then Nail comes, and he's like, "I must share the greatest secret of the world."
Yeah, the two greatest secrets that
Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
Um, I like Nightblood's talking. He's like, "Hey, you should pull me. Like, I could be useful." And he's like, "No." And then he says, "You think like Vasher," the sword said in his head. "Do you know Vasher? He teaches swords to people now, which is funny because Vara Trelides always says Vasher isn't any good with the sword." Um, but yeah, it is funny. Like I don't think Vasher ever said in Warbreaker, I don't think he ever said, "I'm not a good swordsman." It was always this other character was like, "Yeah, he's not a good swordsman," but it's just like hearsay that he's not a good swordsman, but he could be a good swordsman. It's like saying like a third string NFL lineman. It's like it's if a first string NFL lineman said a third string NFL lineman wasn't any good at being a lineman,
mm,
but that third string NFL lineman would still beat the pants off of anybody else,
yeah,
like do a better job against anybody else that wasn't in NFL.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. There's that quote from uh Brian Scalabrine, who was like a pretty decent backup center and for the Celtics, and he's like, he goes, I'm closer to LeBron James than you are to me. It's
yeah,
like, yeah, 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 pretty
yeah.
true.
I do like this little tidbit. I don't know if you picked it up, but Seth has trained with multiple honor blades and possibly all of them. The quote says, "This would be like those days in his youth spent training with the honor blades." So I wonder how many surges he knows, because holding the honor blade
Yeah,
gives you the surges of that order.
yeah.
Uh, so Seth potentially knows more than lashings and gravity.
I wonder if if you bonded a sprint and you have an honor blade, do you get like all the powers?
Well, I would assume you would get the power of an honor blade and the sprint that you have.
Yeah, just don't know if they cancel each other out. But
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know, but yeah.
But I think
Oh,
it sets up that people can have like multiple surges that span across
and if you dual wield honor blades,
with the unmade thing here. It mentions the unmade had access to all the surges. So I think it's a possibility.
yeah, should
Uh,
just we need Zoro from One Piece in here, and he could have three honor blades and just start messing everybody up.
yeah, there's another quote that I thought was pretty cool is what were those two spren floating nearby, shaped as small slits in the air? They separated the sky like wounds in skin, exposing a black field full of stars. When they moved, the substance of reality bent around them. So,
Guess so those are like Star Spring, probably.
yeah.
Maybe because they talked about Star Spring before.
Oh, yeah. Those are star spren. I mean, star spren, I think, are the ones that you bond to become a skybreaker.
Oh, that makes sense then. They said that you impressed the High Spring, saying,
Yeah. It is funny. I just think of, well, I mean, them coming out to Seth reminds me of when they all came out to when all the honor spring came out to watch Bridge 4.
"Yeah,
Uh, but it just reminds me of like scouts coming out and watching athletes play. Like,
yeah,
hey, we like you. We want you on our team.
yeah." We'll see who has the first draft pick for the honor sprint. All
Well, I
right,
mean, we already know Teft has one.
true. May or may not be an honor sprint. Well, I think it has to be because you can fly. Yeah,
Yeah, Teft has an honor spring.
just haven't seen it. Rock hasn't seen it, so.
Yeah.
All right,
I
chapter
don't think Rock has seen
99.
Teft yet.
No, he like picks him up from being drugged up.
Yeah, but we don't know when he bonded it, right?
It talks to him in that chapter, I'm pretty sure.
But he may not have bonded it yet.
True. Yeah.
All right.
All right,
Chapter 99.
Reachers. We get the cool aforementioned illustration of the Mandras. They're really cool looking. But yeah, it.
You can continue to talk.
Okay. I didn't know if like we were stopping.
Oh,
But
no.
yes, this is a Kaladin POV chapter. Um, we got they're on the ship now. In Shadesmar. Captained by Aiko. He's a light spren.
I go on day.
They're all light springs. I'm gonna say it now before I forget. In one of these chapters with Aiko, I'm pretty sure his daughter is the light spren that Vinley is with.
Oh, okay.
Because he's like, I had my daughter, but then she went and did something reckless. I'm like, ah ha ha. That's a that's Timber or whatever.
Okay.
Calling it now. But that's why I think that was a little Easter egg.
Yeah, I did not catch that.
Forget which chapter it is. But yeah, he talks. It's not this one because it's later, but I was gonna forget about it before I brought it up. Yeah, so they're doing stuff in the ship. Um, uh, they're like they can do like cool stuff to make water, to like soul of the ice and like condensation to like make water. It's pretty cool. Um, oh yeah, Syl is having a light weaving over her body to make her look like a human because she's a fugitive. Um, and she is instigating him with Shallan, and he goes and talks to her. Um, and Shallan's drawing, and she's like trying out a new art style.
She's
Uh,
basically drawing the mandras, the artwork that we see at the beginning of this chapter.
basically, yeah. Um, and yeah, they kind of talk about how crazy Shalana is. She like keeps making her making new personas so she doesn't hurt herself. But yeah, and they kind of bond a little bit. That's kind of it.
Yeah,
He also says that like he's still trying to get him to go to Thalen City instead of the Hornator Peaks. So
yeah. Kaladin is.
yeah,
Yeah. Did you mention? Okay, well, the mandras are cool, like but they do drop or vanish into the physical realm sometimes, which is why they one ship can't be pulled, or a ship can't be pulled by just one, even if it's the smaller ones. Um, and they're known as Luxsprin, and they're said to help the great shells and others fly. Um, because they've done the kaiju math where the great shells should not be able to support their own weight, so they need the Luxsprin to lift some of that up.
yeah,
Um, and then the other thing I was going to say, did you mention Kaladin and Shallan were flirting? Um, and Kaladin says he wishes he could suppress his emotions like Shallan does in order to function. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm crazy. You don't want to be like me." But yeah, they bring up they. I think this is where he brings up when they were in the chasm together.
yeah.
Um, and he does mention Terra in this chapter again,
Who we
which
get to
was just
meet?
huh?
Who we get to meet?
We do get to meet her later on, um, which is fun. But it was his first romance. So
Yeah,
oh, we do we find out that Reno transfers Stormlight into his crystal ball. So like it's like I think they described it like white, like a white cloud floating inside. And I think it's just like it holds pure investiture. And so whatever can be like right now, I think Stormlight is the easiest form of investiture to get than any other, makes Roshar a um, desirable place to visit if you want
yeah,
investiture.
yeah. Pretty
Um,
easy trade route for. Yeah, we also find out basically like the currency on there on the other side is obviously Stormlight. I don't know if we get it this chapter, but we learn that there's like perfect gemstones that
yeah, the money lenders in Celebrant store the Stormlight and perfect gemstones that don't leak Stormlight. So you have to take it out for it to go away.
and I'm pretty sure we get to see one of those also in this section
Yes, we do in the
in the interlude,
yeah, in the interlude, we definitely do get to see one.
which is cool. Yeah, but yeah, they're just going to the city. We get to learn more about Shadesmar, and yeah, they do flirt a little bit, and also John is once again cray cray.
Yes.
All right. We can go to chapter 100 unless you got anything else.
Nope.
An old friend. So Dalinar is in Vadanar. It's there's it's hit by the Everstorm, and he's looking at the fortifications and stuff because that's where they think the Prussian are going to attack, or the Singers. Um, he's been regaining memories as we've been reading them, so he has basically most of the memories except for the Night Watcher stuff. Um, he is still being tormented by the memories of what he did. Um, he he talks with Teravangian about morality and all that stuff, and it's the how things are happening with that, and like you know ends justify the means and all that stuff. Yeah, like uh we learn again that the Sprinter are being enslaved to create the Fabrials, and if that's ethical or not. Um, you know, Dalinar is being a
I
little
like,
hmm?
yeah, I like that Taravangian asked Dalinar, like, would he have rather the Sunmaker unify Alethkar in the past if it meant that Dalinar would just assume control of a united country? And just that whole kind of, like you said, morality conversation. It was very interesting because it would make Dalinar's job a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
But it
Yes,
means it
yes it
would
would.
have been more brutal back in the day.
Yeah, it's the whole thing of like like is like the spread of Hellenism from Alexander the Great a good thing now that thousands of years ago a bunch of people died for it and stuff like that. So yeah, there's always like we look back on history for like some of the good things that the conquerors did, but at the time it was very brutal. And if it's worth it, no. Same thing with like Genghis Khan has a lot of that stuff. See, he meets with some veterans. They're like it wasn't like we couldn't stop fighting basically, and he recognizes it as the thrill. So the thrill was in there. Then
Like
he
it left out the Shattered Plains and came to Thalen City.
yeah, which is weird because like Dalinar was couldn't feel the thrill in book one, but like Adolin could. So I guess maybe some like remnants of it was still there.
No, I remember Dalinar having it a couple times. He pushed
But then
out.
he would like lose it. But yeah,
Yeah, I
so
think he was able to push it out, and there might be a limit on how many people that Moloch can affect.
yeah, maybe
So maybe he was more focused on because we saw the Parshindi
that was only
able.
after the Voidbringers came, so that makes sense. Because like Esh and I had it before she died. That's kind of what killed her. But yeah, he starts to feel the thrill, and he realizes that he never really overcame it. It just kind of left. So he's like uh gonna like murder everybody because he's just feeling it welling up inside him. He like runs away, and then forces the Storm Father to become a sword so he can teleport out of there, and he teleports out.
Did he make him a sword, or was it something else? Like I didn't get.
He forced the Storm Father into a shard blade. That's why he was in pain and stuff.
Okay.
Also shows that he can do that, which is kind of crazy. Um, and yes, and then he basically is hearing all the voices and thrill, and he's like, I can't kill it, go back to that. So he uh starts drinking. Um, uh, oh, also he like becomes a heretic. Now, like that kind of happens. It's funny because he's like freaking out about the thrilling and everybody. Then these like priests come up and like, Dalinar, you're a heretic. He's like, I'm gonna go away, and he runs away. It's kind of an afterthought, even though it matters a lot. But it's funny.
Yeah, it was just like right as he's leaving,
Yeah,
and he's like, oh my God, I'm going crazy, and he'll show up is like, oh hey, yeah, the church has declared you a heretic and you're excommunicated. He's like, oh, I gotta go away now.
runs away.
But yeah, the voice in his head is telling him, "Give me your pain." Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, like being in Dalinar's head in this chapter, like the only way I could describe it was like just suffocating. It's like seeing him go, "Oh my God, I'm freaking out here. Oh my God, this other thing's coming up now. I gotta get out. Oh wait, now people are coming. Oh God, they're giving this public news that they're excommunicating me from the church. Oh my God, like what? Everything's just falling apart."
yeah, yeah. It's very well done. Um, yeah. Poor old Dalinar.
Uh,
He's found his heroine, and it is an unmade. Not a good combination.
we do get information here. This is a fun world information. There are legends of metal that can block a shard blade, a metal that falls from the sky, silver but somehow lighter. So, obviously, I whenever I hear metal, and there was something else earlier on that like the metals, there's metals that vibrate in Shadesmar somewhere.
It was like copper or something,
Yeah, I always think
which
of
is an elementic metal.
yeah, I always think of Mistborn
Yeah,
whenever metal comes up.
I
So
just thought that these were what they made the sheaths for the shard blades, like space metal.
maybe
But yeah, I mean, the metal since it's come from outer space could come from like
it might be abundant on
this world
Mist
place.
on Scadrial.
Maybe it's Acadium.
No, I don't think it is Adium.
I don't think it is either, but it'd be kind of fun. Well, because that's like yeah.
There's more metals in here too.
Well, maybe it's metal from Era too. Maybe it's thermite.
Thermite.
It's gonna blow up.
Uh, yeah. All right, 101.
Yes, 101. Dead Eye. Um, it's an Adolin POV. He is
I go on day.
yes, he's in Aiko's
Cabin.
cabin. He's getting clothes. He's like basically being a tailor, which is funny. He just hangs out with tailors all day. Um and uh yeah, yeah,
Aiko insults him.
yeah.
Uh,
And-
so Aiko doesn't know much about Adolin, but when he comes in, he's like, "You're a ruler in your world, aren't you? I could just like sense it, that you're like regal."
Yeah,
And that lets Adolin starts to wonder, is like, am I a king now? Like Elokar's dead, Gav's too young, and my father is abdicating, so I kind of am, huh?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's yeah. I mean, I guess it's true. I mean, he already was a prince, so should already be like, yes, I am nobility. I'm like basically, you know, prince to a city state of vast power, even if I'm not going to be a king, which is kind of funny. Yeah,
he insults Adolin as well by saying that most Spren don't trust humans, but he says that humans aren't to be trusted with oaths.
man.
Um,
Uh, so yeah. What else happened? Yeah, Calvin like ribs him about being able to sew. It's really funny.
and Shallan is jealous of his skirt. He made a skirt, and she's jealous of it because she's tired of wearing trousers because
Yep.
the legs of the trousers rub against each other.
Um,
I mean, that would be better than like the skin of your legs rubbing against each other, would it not?
Yeah,
I mean, I've never worn a kilt or a skirt, but
me neither. So yeah. Um. Oh yeah. He talks with
Azure.
Azure, and she's like, "Well, you could like advocate for somebody better," and he's like, Nobody does that." And she's like, "I knew somebody." So I guess as a reference to Warbreaker. Um. So
It's a reference to herself.
yeah, okay. Well, yeah, somebody from Warbreaker. Oh yeah, then we learn that title of the chapter, Deadeye, is referring to the dead sword. I wonder if there's just like a pin somewhere with just all the recreants. People are just like, there you go, just chill here. They just kind of like wander around if you don't like lock them up. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of like their side's version of like a Parshindy. Just they're just kind of invisible almost to the spring.
But they don't necessarily do anything
They
either.
don't do anything to them, but yeah, uh, it's kind of fun.
Well, not
Um,
not just they don't do anything to them. The dead eyes don't do anything but walk around.
yeah. Um,
And they're kind of shunned too. Like they're almost treated, excuse me, like lepers.
yeah,
Like, oh my God, you have one of those here?
yep. They get to the city. Uh, um, they ask if they're gonna go to the Hornier Peaks, but like, no, we got other trade routes, so they're gonna split up. And then they Kaladin, Adolin, and Syl are gonna get supplies. Shalom, Pattern, and Azure are gonna go find another ship to take them to either Thalen City or the Hornier Peaks.
Yeah, we also get some information, other information from Ico. Um, One, the ships have been going missing during near cultivation's perpendicularity. Um, he advises them to stay in Shadesmar because the physical realm is not welcoming. Uh, but that's primarily a Sprin point of view. Um, Whereas humans are like, we know Yazda is like told Shallan, don't go to Shadesmar because it's a dangerous place and not welcoming. Um,
Yeah,
and that's kind of funny that they hold the same ideal or idea about the opposite place. And then the other thing that we learn is to not stray too far outside of the city. Anger Sprin will be near since this is close to a human city.
yeah, yep,
So, Anger Sprin apparently like to gather where humans are because humans are always angry.
makes sense.
We can move on. Chapter 102. Unless you
Yeah.
have something.
So yeah, we find out that Aiko's father was a is a Deadeye now. Just kind of sad.
Oh, yeah. His father was in the cell with, uh,
Yeah.
what's her name?
Yeah. Or something. Yeah. Oh yeah. So here you my daughter used to work there before she ran off chasing stupid dreams. That Aiko said that. So I think that's what made me think that
Where did she used to work?
the building right next to that is the money changer where you can trade Stormlight for notes of exchange. He shook his head. My daughter used to work there before she ran off chasing stupid dreams. Yeah, I think she is Timber from Vinley. But we shall see. Or maybe I don't know if he's gonna come back considering his ship catches on fire.
Yeah.
Might
Chapter
might be
102.
dead. 102, Celebrant. Uh it's basically
Is my typing
Kaladin.
coming through on here or no?
Not really.
Okay.
Not super loud. It's another Kaladin and Shallan. It's Jesus. Uh, Basically picks off right where they left off. So starts off Kaladin. They're going to the market to resupply. There's no spren children, and so explains that they are very rare when they reproduce, and can take like hundreds of years. So most of the spren are super old, and and yeah, so that's kind of crazy. And then he spots a painting of a kneeling figure with 9 shadows at the stall. No.
Most most food here is sold in cans, by the way.
Yeah.
Non-perishable food items only.
Yeah. So whatever world has canned food is where that comes from. I don't know.
I'm
Yeah.
also curious, and I didn't mean to
I can't
skip
remember.
over the painting. The painting does look um very like sorry. The painting is obviously a huge thing. Like, oh my God, it reminds him of
Yeah, it's also just like foreshadowing that odium has taken over this town.
yeah. And then there's so at the weapons shop, there's a silver chain and a glass case being sold for 1,000 bromes. I'm curious to know where that's from and what it does.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm guessing Era 2 Mistborn has canned food, so the food could be coming from Mistborn.
maybe I don't remember.
I mean, I
I mean,
know
it
it's
could.
like
It's like Wild West.
yeah,
It could be canned food.
yeah. No, definitely not from Roshar because I don't think they have canned food there.
What if it's happening at the same time as Era 3? And they should definitely have canned food in Era 3 of Mistborn.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we do
Uh,
see more. So there are ink sprint and cultivation sprint in this city. By description, we know they are those things.
yep.
And he describes two other spren that we haven't seen before.
Yeah. Well, we go back to Shallan. They're having a hard time finding passage to a to either of the destinations. Most people don't want to bother with humans, and also there's rumors and stuff that anyone going to the Horneater Peaks are not returning. Any ships going there. So it seems like they're yeah, and there's like fused here, which is weird. I guess they probably traveled from the Horneater Peaks into the cognitive realm, um, which uh Rock needs to go over there and start taking him back his stuff. Um, yes, they see that they're Echo and his people are getting questioned. We go back to Kaladin. Uh, we get more information about the painting. Um, it's from the Court of the Gods. It's kind of crazy. Which is where again?
A piece by Nenafra. It is
Yeah,
said that each person who sees one of his masterworks sees something different, which causes Kaladin to think on Dalinar and how he failed Elhokar.
yeah. Um,
And Adolin
yeah,
runs up and says, "Oh God, we have a problem."
yes. Because basically the Void Spren and are in charge of the city. They end up lighting Echo ships on fire. They start like they start trying to meet back together and try to figure out what to do. Um, basically, she ends up still ends up they're like getting boxed in. not really much to do. So Syl ends up revealing herself to the Honor Spren because there's like a giant like battleship of Honor Spren there, and then they get taken into custody, and then that's kind of what happens.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean the sprint that was working at the registrar is actually excited. He seems to be like the only sprint so far that we've met that's excited for the return of the honor of men.
Mm.
Um, let's see. There's a clock in Shades Bar, which is kind of cool. Like towers in the city center showed the time by way of fires burning in a set of vertical holes. Um, I think you touched on it, how the Sprin produced, which is funny because Adolin says it sounds similar to what his nanny used to tell him about humans. There are places where that power coalesces and parts start to be aware. You go and then come back with a child.
Yeah.
Uh,
So,
yeah, good stuff. It progresses the plot pretty well.
mhm.
Um, yeah, we move on.
All right, chapter 103, Hypocrite. Downer wakes up from a drunken binge. Uh, he like wait, no, he wakes up in the dream. That's right. That happens
Yeah, he
first.
wakes up into a dream.
Into a dream that is not a vision from the Stormfather, but maybe from the Almighty. Um, yeah. So he talks again with the writer of the Way of
Noadon.
Noadan, the writer of the Way of Kings. Um, we found out that he actually did walk to Irithiru because there's tunnels, which is funny. Um, so we get that little thing. He was actually correct. Let's see. Yeah, he wants to go shopping with Noadon. Uh,
Dalinar notices that the women aren't wearing anything over their safe hands.
yeah, because I mean you should already know that, but let's see. Yeah, he's
Shadows passing
yeah,
between buildings in the market. Uh, off in the
yeah,
distance, thunderclasts start showing up. Um, and Noadon will mention that all things exist in three realms: the physical, which you are now; the cognitive, which you see yourself as being; and the spiritual, which is the perfect you, the person beyond pain and error and uncertainty.
yep.
And we get the question of what is the most important step a man can take, which is obviously the
First
first
one,
step, which is the name of a chapter later on.
yeah,
And then Dalinar wakes up,
yep.
realizing that it's not a vision, and then suddenly
Or is
remembers
it?
the night of Gavilar's funeral.
Yep. Uh, yeah, and this may be a vision from the Almighty. Maybe the
Or a
Almighty is
dream.
his dad.
If it's not a vision and it's just a dream, then it's information that Dalinar knew already,
True, but
and he doesn't dwell on it
but
often.
maybe honor is in the spiritual realm, and he's able to like still influence in the cognitive realm or something. Possibly,
Yeah.
because he's had a couple of those where like, Stormfather, did you send me a vision? He's like, no. So, and then we just learned that like sometimes some people very rarely can hit the spiritual realm. So
Yeah.
maybe, but yeah, cool stuff. Um, get some
But
Gavilar funeral. Yeah. I can move on to chapter 104. Jeez. Strength. This is another Navani chapter, which is fun. So she's meeting with basically the coalition and the high princes and stuff about Dalinar, because Dalinar has been drinking himself silly for like a week or so, and she's trying to keep everything together. Um, so Earth is like suffering like infrastructure problems. There's a whole bunch of labor related stuff that's happening, and they're just trying to like talk and see what stuff, but she's trying to keep everything together. Um, yeah, she advises to keep the hiking arrangement a secret for now, which backfires on them. And then she goes and sees Yasna and Renarin in the library, and they're trying to translate the epigraphs from the last part. Um, and they're trying to figure out a pattern of why they were stored where and stuff like that. And they're trying to work on like the tower fabrials to get basically this thing up and running again, but they're not having any success. We also learned that Renarin was the one that was writing the cryptic message on the wall last book. Could have just talked to Dalinar in private, but he thought he was going insane and stuff. Um, and then so he didn't do that. And then we also learned that the stump is going to Azir, so get a little Edge Dancer connection.
Yeah. So the sketch of her
As
spren, it looks like a shimmer you see on a wall when you shine light through a crystal. Have we seen that type of spren before? Like,
No, but I think that's what they said Renarin's was. So maybe they're the same order. Maybe they're both truth watchers. Or
so the Truth Watcher can heal and see the future, right?
thing. I don't know if see the future is it. Yeah, I guess so.
Well, yeah, he says he sees the future
Yeah,
and he can heal other
yeah, I
people.
can definitely heal.
The stump can heal people.
Yeah,
So the stump is a Truth Watcher,
yeah, seems to be
potentially.
potentially. That's probably one of the freaking axiom coaxial things. Strong axial interconnection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Romic. No, it's not Romic transition. That's else colors.
Romantic.
Yeah. Yep.
We get this is a chapter where we get hints of Gavilar's dark days. Like Navani kind of hints. Um
We've read some of those.
Gavilar's.
Oh, not Gower. Yeah.
Yeah, not Dalinar, but Gavilar.
They have the same sounding name.
Yeah. Um the image, the artwork at the beginning of the chapter about the van braces, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um Hatham is the High Prince of Works. It's kind of funny. It reminds me of like a DOTD or like a utility liaison between the government and like the utility companies. Um, I forget the office name. I had to vote on that this time for my district.
Mm.
Um, Another funny thing is Sabariel was caught looking at lewd photos. This like a deck of cards with scantily clad women when Navani entered the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Navani was asking about the information in the gemstones. Like, she's like, I need the information about how the gemstones work. And Yasna was like, well, there's a bunch of history in here. And Navani's like, I don't care about the history. And Yasna starts berating her for dismissing the importance of history. Like, it's like basically, if we don't learn from history, we're doomed to repeat ourselves.
Yeah.
Speech that she gives her. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
fun chapter. Learning
Mhm.
more and more. There's so much going on that it seems like it takes forever to find out information about each thing, and then we're gonna get another huge Sand Ranch, but
Yeah.
um,
I guess so. Probably a Phelan City Rumble. Yeah, we can move on though. Chapter 105, Spirit, Mind, and Body. This is another Dalinar flashback, which is the Gavilar funeral. Um, that he just started remembering. Um, we get to see him get turned into a statue, which was pretty cool.
Before we continue on here, because
Yeah,
we're gonna get to it here, but because it ties in, but the previous chapter where Dalinar ran off, like when he ran off was called a heretic and started his bender, like he tried to like recall the way of kings, and it wasn't comforting him then. Um, so that'll tie into this chapter
yeah.
pretty nicely.
But yeah, we get to see the funeral. Uh, it's sad. We get to see the start of the Vengeance Pack. Sadius was the first one to pledge, which is, of course, he was. Um, and he kind of like runs away. He's looking for more wine and stuff, but then he gets overhears Yasna reading from the Way of Kings, and then she like reads the entire thing. It's like 8 hours, and it comforts him. Um, and then you know, uh, yeah, very good scene. And then he's like, I should move my forces here, and then I can make a little pit stop at the valley and get my memories wiped.
Yeah, I thought it was a very lovely scene between Yasna and Dalinar.
Yes, it was.
Um, excuse me. It reminds me of the story that Mo told when she was on about her father coming home late at night and she was still up past midnight and she was supposed to be sleeping, but she was reading and he's like, "You got to go to bed." And she's like, "No, I got to find out what happens to these characters." And he goes in and sits there and reads with her and they both start crying over the characters and then he sends her to bed. So
Yeah, yeah, it's
fun.
good. Yeah, fun stuff. I can see an emotional Yasna, which is very rarely seen.
Right.
Um, and yeah, so we get to move on to 106. Law is light. This is a Seth chapter. He's flying with the Skybreakers and the Herald for 3 days. They're stopping for like stockpiles that have been hidden away for centuries, which is kind of cool. It just reinforces that Skybreakers have been around forever. Um, he Nail admits that he failed at preventing the desolation, and that Ishar had warned him that Surge Binders were coming back, and that is the God King that's raging war right now. Um, and yeah, and other orders might, the Surge Binder, everything's coming back. He poofs out an honor blade, which is fun. Uh, what else?
No, he summoned a shard blade.
Oh yeah,
Like we already knew he had his honor blade, but he summons a shard blade, and I was like, "What the hell?"
yeah,
Um, oh no, he does. Sorry, he does pull. He does both.
yeah,
He summons a shard blade, and since a shard blade appeared, one of the two missing honor blades. Seth's people had care of eight. Once long ago, it had been nine. Then this one had vanished.
yeah,
So what's the other one that's missing? Talonats?
yeah. Well, they wouldn't have never. Well, they would have had that because it was no, it was never in the ground, right? Because there was nine,
Yeah.
so it would be nailed. I guess. I don't know.
But I mean, we also know that Ishi's honor blade is with the Windrunners, the Bridge 4. Ishi
Yeah,
doesn't have his.
yeah.
So,
No, I think that's another
uh,
little mystery.
yeah.
Yeah. Seth is gonna swear the third ideal soon, but he has not yet. Um, yeah, and then we learn, which we've already talked about before, that Neo himself is a Skybreaker. But the fifth ideal, he's the only herald to join his order, and tell he's gonna tell Seth about when they forgave their oath, and not whatever the A word.
Harry Adam.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love when Seth points out Nail is a hypocrite. He's like, "Hey, I mean, you passed over certain lawbreakers, like to go after the Radiants." He's like, "Yeah, there's more important things to do than that." It's like, great job calling him out on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Nails. Crazy.
Yep.
Um. Yeah, but cool stuff. We're gonna learn about a bunch of stuff pretty soon. Chapter 107, the first step. Hey, callback from 2 chapters ago.
Yeah.
Uh, this is a Dalinar chapter. He wakes up. He's you know pretty nasty from his bender. He bathes. And he gets himself ready to go to a meeting with and yes. He meets Taravangian. They're going to the meeting. Um, uh, yes. Ooh, it's interesting that Stormfather says he sensed Kaladin, but he couldn't pinpoint where. He sensed him in the cognitive realm, which is fun. Um, they meet. The meeting happens. Then a bunch of stuff happens there. We learn a bunch of stuff. We learn that about they learn about the hiking stuff that hasn't been announced yet. So make basically this is all Taravangian's plan to do what he was gonna say he was gonna do last interlude. This credit get rid of Dalinar. Um so they learn that the hiking stuff, so that makes it seem like he's gonna wants to become a ruler, which is that happens. Yes, right?
Not
Did I jump?
yet.
Okay, no,
So,
sorry, I went to a
so
different chapter.
yeah, so
This is where he
basically,
figures out that they're gonna attack Thalen City. Sorry.
right. I was
Sorry.
like, it's like, okay.
Sorry.
I
I
was
was looking
reading all
at
this. I was like, did you just like lump
I
all
was
this into the talked about a whole bunch of stuff?
no, I went to my notes and the like 2 chapters from now or something. Sorry.
No, it's cool.
Um
It's happened to me before.
yeah. Um yeah. So basically sorry, they're like doing like a war meeting and they're like, oh, Dalinar, good to meet you. Uh where were you? He's like, he apologizes for like his bender. They're kind of keeping it hush hush and stuff. And they're he's looking at the military placements, and he figures out like the strategic value of Thaylen City, and like that's why they got all the ships away. So they're gonna attack them. So then they like they figure out um they formulate a plan of like where to move all their navy and all that stuff to like basically have some troops there. And Downer asks the Stormfather to basically next High Storm see if he can talk to Finley. Yeah. But yeah, basically like the mountains of Yakoved was gonna be like a death trap. So like they're basically gonna cut them off from sea so they like have like nowhere to go and also can ovate, uh, which is a good plan for the enemy.
Yeah,
Uh,
I totally did not pick up Vinley here for some reason. And then when that chapter happened where she gets pulled in, I was like, what the? Oh, okay.
yeah.
But yeah,
Uh,
the whole thing, their whole plan with the Navy and everything involves every nation. So it's not just like the Alethi
yeah,
doing their thing.
because
Obviously, the Alethi don't have boats, but
yeah, and like the Aegis have like actual soldiers that have fought in the Navy before, and they're like using a bunch of stuff. Then we get some Teravangian. Um,
I think
he,
he's having an average intelligence day when we get to him here
yeah. Uh,
because he's
so
more he's
yeah, we
more
learn.
upset, like more
Yeah,
emotional.
he learns that Graves is dead, and he's kind of sad about that. And then this is where we learn about Mulata and her sprint, about how they just kind of want to seek revenge for all the Ash Spren that died in the Recreants. Should have gone to Mistborn. There's lots of Ash there. Um, but yeah, and this is when they're like, "All right, we're gonna do the thing I talked about that we'll get to in a little bit. They're gonna undermine Dalinar."
Yeah. Um, it's weird. Teravangian gets reports that Moloch. I guess that makes sense. His surgeons
Yeah,
um has settled in the Horneater Peaks. So Hoshar or whatever is headed there, hoping to get more death rattles. So
yeah, that could be what's well, that could be what's blocking the corner of your peak portal. Right. Chapter 108. Unless you
hold
got
on
anything
one
else.
second. Let's see.
Yeah.
Um. Oh, it was interesting that in this chapter, like Teravangian seemed to believe that Dalinar was a good man or is a good man, and he was like, "Huh, well, that's surprising to me." Like he didn't like it finally clicked in his head. He's like, "Oh, he is a good man." Well, that sucks. He's gonna get fucked over.
Yeah.
Um, but it is fun to see more of Teravangian's machinations and excuse me, my cough.
Yes.
Um, and
I have
more
a
about Malata and the fact that she is not good.
yeah.
So
I have a feeling like Taravangian is gonna like come to power and then like die of old age and just screw everything. It's gonna be very chaotic.
okay,
There's stuff of like a lot of stuff later on where he's like limiting his age and stuff. I could see him just like killing, like having like an aneurysm or something, dying, and just being like, "Oh no, I undermined Dalinar, and now I can't do anything. Ah, the world is
make
doomed."
make a note of your theories.
I will.
Yeah. See if it comes true. That'd be wild.
It would be wild. All right, 108
108.
honors path. See, I'm on the right chapter this time.
Yes, you're on the
Uh,
honorable path.
I am. POV basically all the main characters in Shadesmar. Um, they they were locked up for a while. They're on the honor ship, honors path. Haha. That's the name of it. And they're going to the honor city. The like has a cool name. The
The
fest.
lasting integrity.
Yeah, lasting integrity. Um,
Because there's another one called unyielding integrity too,
yeah,
which means the
yeah,
same thing, but
yeah. They're not very creative. They don't have any cryptics with them. Um, so yeah, they've been locked up for a while. Only now Syl is locked up. Uh, so they're trying to figure out where they're heading. Kaladin's like, we need to get to Thalen City. I had a dream of the future. I know it's forbidden, but guess what? We should do it. Um, yeah, they're like, maybe we should stage like a mutiny or something. Maybe we should. Well, Vale says that, but that's not really gonna do anything. They're honor sprint. Can't really do a mutiny. And then Paladin's like, maybe you could like, do what you did before, make bridges, and she's like, that would be so she gets beads to practice with now, so she starts doing soul casting stuff, which is pretty cool. She could just kind of appear inside it and but not like manifest anything. Um, so yeah, she's starting to learn soul casting. Uh, and then yeah,
She pockets
Vale,
one that looks like a knife.
yeah. Yeah, because Vale's starting to take over randomly. She's still being and crazy. Uh, it's good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Azure gets her weird shard blade back. And then because she's made a deal with them. We learn that she's after the sword that Seth has, Nightblood. And that's why the criminal is a sword, not a man. Um,
But she's also looking for Vasher.
yeah. It's funny that I like that Calvin's like, you traitor. She's like, I have no obligation with you. Like, I just kind of tagged along. What's up? Like,
Yeah.
why are you mad at me? Um, and uh, she's going all crazy, and she's doing her stuff. She talks to Adolin. Adolin's like, hey, I murdered Sadius, and she's like, good. And he's like, what? She's like, yeah, he needed to die. No,
Well, yeah, her personas just kept going through as well. And right before he admitted that, she was like, which persona do you like the most?
yeah.
Um,
He's like you, and she's like, oh, I don't. That's not really existing because I'm insane.
yeah, but she was also drawing like her sketches were going crazy. Like she kept drawing Veil on Radiant's body and vice versa.
Yeah.
So she's losing it.
Yes, she is.
But yeah, she wasn't. She she was like, oh, okay, you let me look for a killer this whole time. Okay, cool. Oh, thank
Yep.
you for killing him.
Yeah. I mean, he needed to die. Um, which he
I
did.
like how everybody is just like, oh yeah, okay, he needed to die.
I mean, he kind of did. He even said like to Adolin, like, I'm gonna undermine everything. What's up? And Adolin's like, all right, die.
Yeah.
So should have uh should have not done that. Let's see. Now we get some Paladin stuff.
Yeah, I like the information we get here. So like first of all, Kaladin's like upsetting the crew, and so the captain comes and then Kaladin's like, I demand that you let Syl free. And he's like, no, no, no. Her bond with you is inappropriate. He drops the name Ancient Daughter. Um, we find out some things about the Stormfather and Honor Spren. Like so before Honor's death. Honor had stopped making Honor Sprint and had the Stormfather do it,
hmm,
which is interesting.
yeah.
Syl was actually the only Honor Sprint that survived the Recreants. It took centuries before Stormfather created more, and he only created 10.
Yep.
So he can create them, but then they can procreate themselves, maybe.
Yep. Yeah, I think so.
The bond is too dangerous with honor. There aren't enough checks on power.
Hmm.
So that's why he says that the bond is inappropriate because there's not enough checks um, on the power, and that there's still time to change until the final idea is spoken.
Yep. And I you can also like telepathically talk to Syl now, which is cool. Um uh but yeah, he is close to the fourth ideal, but he does not swear it yet. Maybe this
He
book
he
will be
asks her what the words are. He's like, "Oh, you got to find that out yourself, buddy."
yeah. Yep, it's not like Nile. Um oh yeah, then he gets a bunch of like wind spren around him and they're really cool looking and like they're almost always Um, they're almost always in the physical realm, so that's it's very rare to see them in there. And then he basically is like, all right, well, guess what? You have an oath to Stormfather to bring her back, but I have an oath to protect the bondsmith who's bonded to Stormfather, and if he dies, Stormfather's messed up, so you should take me to Thalen City. And they're like, that's a good argument. Shit.
But when he said, I have a, sorry, Kaladin's like, I have an oath to protect the bondsmith. He's like, well, which one of the three?
Yeah, that's what we learned in three.
He was like, what do you mean? And he's like, he never elaborated. So like,
Yeah,
okay. Again, we get this hint. Like,
yeah.
okay, there are three, but who are they?
I don't know.
Who are
That'd
the
be fun.
Spren, and then who is going to be the bondsmith for them? We're gonna have to learn. Like all three have to come up in this
Yeah.
series.
I assume the Night Watchers are the other one, but
Yeah,
I don't know what the third one is. But yeah, then we get a little drama with Adolin being like, "Oh, Shalom, I can see that she likes Kaladin because she's switching into her veil form more often." And yes, we get some little maybe foreshadowing of drama, and then we go like, "Oh no, the fuse are coming." That's the end of that.
yeah. Uh, so unyielding fidelity is the Honor Spring's stronghold near Carbronth. It's interesting that beads can be dropped anywhere in Shadesmar, and they'll just eventually find their way back to their counterpart. So it's like, what's that term with MMOs where you kite somebody
Oh yeah,
away and they rubber band back to where they were?
yeah, they're yeah,
Yeah, so that's interesting. And of course, Adolin's response to which version of Shallan he likes best is the perfect answer, and it's the one I'm talking to right now. You don't have to hide Shallan. You don't have to push it down. Maybe the vase is cracked, but that only means it can show what's inside. And I like what's inside.
yeah. Good guy. Adolin's a good guy.
Good guy, Adolin.
All right. Yep. Yeah. Good stuff.
Or not.
I'm a little sad we don't go to the Glory Spring city. Would have been kind of fun. Or
Yeah.
Honor Spring
You
city.
think it's called Glory Hole? Oh,
Maybe.
you meant the Honor Spin.
Yeah. Or yes. Um. Chapter. Moving on. Chapter 109. Um. Uh. Neshwa Kadal. This is Dalinar and Vinley. This is where we get the Vinley and Dalinar meeting. So yeah, Dalinar starts off with him and Navani, and he's gonna do a vision. It's the first one he's done since Odium was able to appear. Um, but he wants to know his enemy. Um, and then he meets with Vinley. I keep on wanting to call her Eshni, even though it's Vinley. And then we switch to Vinley's POV, and she's like, "Why did she's been having visions from Odium, telling her what to do?" We saw in the interludes. She's like, why did he send me here? It's very strange." And then Downer comes up and like talks with her and like, what what would a truce uh what can we do to have peace, basically. And she says, "All right, well, give us Alethkar, all of it." And he's like, "Well," he's like, "No, we," and he starts like they start negotiating, and like maybe we could have a Parshindi High Prince, and we could figure some stuff out. And then Big Daddy Odium comes in and blows up the sky, and starts being bad. And she sees that Dalinar is a radiant, and she's awestruck by a nice radiant. What could that be? And because he can resist odium.
That was like an awesome scene of him like piecing together. Like I could just see a dream world, like the sky cracking and there's burning coming through, and like Vinley feels that burning, and then Dalinar just like reaches up and starts to mend the
Yeah,
sky back together, and then eventually does break through and at the edge. Um,
yeah.
with
But
that timber.
Timber is in the vision, which is interesting. Uh, yeah, they're getting like tossed around by a fierce wind, and it's getting all crazy. And she's able to grab Timber before they've, and then they kind of wake up, and
I
it's
got the sense that Dalinar, like he saved her from falling into the pit and then
yeah,
pushed
yeah,
her
yeah,
out of the vision.
yeah. And then Downer, it's bad news. Odium, uh, you know, your pain, all that stuff. We hear the Stormlord screaming, weeping like a child. Um, it's bad news. Odium appears again as an old man. Yeah, says there's gonna be peace. You know what's up? Um, and it's bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's an exciting chapter.
yeah.
Super exciting. I love it. I love the imagery.
Yeah, there's hints of Dalinar and Odium being tied together because he's like, after you destroy Roshar, he's like, no, after you destroy a Dalinar, I'll be the one to rebuild it. So maybe Dalinar will be the figure with 9 shadows.
Yeah. Be wild if Dalinar ended up being Odium's champion.
It would be crazy. Um, yeah,
Plot
very cool
twist.
stuff. Plot twist. Maybe don't try that again, Dalinar. You made the Stone Father cry like a baby.
Yeah.
But maybe he gained an ally in Vinland. For all good the good that's gonna do with her just being a prophet.
Yeah. There you go.
But maybe she can start trying to turn the Prashindi against Odium. We shall see.
We shall see.
We shall see. 110, a million stars. Shalon. Um, so we'll see. Oh, they fled the ship. They're like basically walking on the ground with like Shalon making a little bubble around them. Um, so that's gonna happen. They jump off the ship, and then they like the honor sprint are like fighting the fuse, but they're not doing anything. Um, Shalom creates a bubble. They start walking. Um, uh, they start uh they get to shore and they start going to Thalen City. It's cool.
Yeah, a little Easter egg here. So if those have read Warbreaker, should get clue you in what's going to happen there. When Azure she stays behind to help the honor sprint defend the boat against the fused. She does tell Adolin and Adolin and Kaladin to tell Zyle that she's looking for him, and then we can hear her say, "Ask the honor spren if they cut cloth into shapes for her." So, if you've read Warbreaker, that should give you some clue as to what she's going to be doing. Which to me that sounds exciting. But if you haven't read Warbreaker, I mean, it does tell it in the first chapter. So, but you can awaken objects so to do things.
Cool.
So she's going to turn these cloths into warriors and things like that. Yeah.
But we couldn't see that.
Do it. You're
But
sad you don't get to see it.
Yeah,
Might get a flashback. I don't know. Maybe.
maybe.
But yeah, it's just fun Cosmere connection in this chapter to me, and then the interaction with the beads and the spren.
Yeah, just
All right.
reminds me of our time, like like water benders and stuff in Avatar when they're in the water making little air bubbles where they walk on the ground. All right, 111. Elastel, I guess.
Isla Stell. I don't know. I didn't listen to the audiobook, so
Dalinar again.
this is where shit hits the fan.
Yeah. So, he goes to Thalen City, talks with Amaram. Amaram is trying to like get back into his good graces still. And Dalinar's like, just do what I say, do my because he sent all of like Sadis's people previously when they were fighting. When they're he sent all of Sadis's people to help rebuild the Thalen cities. That's where Amaram is. Um, but they're all pissed off because they're having to do manual labor basically. Um, and they're like, yeah, we want to fight. We're Alethi and stuff like that. And Amram's still trying to get into his graces. But we'll see. Um, yeah.
Bankers have been leaving Thaylen
Yes,
City for some reason.
yeah.
I
There's
was
like
confused
some.
by this because there was somebody was like, well, "Can't you order them to stay?" And then the response was like, God, it was confusing. But yeah, I don't. God damn it.
Yeah,
Let's see. I gotta pull it up.
and this is basically happening during Rizen's uh um interlude. Just
Yeah.
for
Let's see. Um, where's it? Oh, Dalinar's like, couldn't you encourage the merchants to stay and support the cities they were in? And said, "Sir, force the merchants to obey military authority." But like Queen Fen, like can't Queen Fen as the queen of the of Thaymon?
I think there's like a free market. So like if once the state takes control of the market, it's not really a free market anymore. It's kind of like
Okay. That makes more sense. I was trying to be like, well, where's the military? Like, because I didn't think it
yeah,
was.
I think they're like kind of like doing like a economic coup almost maybe. I don't know. It was a little weird. Like a lot of economics in this thing. Let's see what else. Yeah. Yeah, Renarin asks if there's any large gemstones in their reserves, so I'm guessing he's going to do something in the fight, or else he knows about the perfect gem, but probably not. Um, he talks with Dalinar talks with the Stormfather. We get some stuff. We get that cultivation is still alive, which is good to know. Uh,
Night Watcher is not
yes,
cultivation, and there's
yeah.
a third sibling.
Who Dalinar has met but does not remember.
Dalinar has met the third sibling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's not the Night Watcher.
and it is not the Night Watcher. I wonder if we've met. Have
I
we
don't know.
seen him meet the third sibling?
I don't think so.
Maybe we will.
Maybe they were both at the valley when he was there.
Maybe
And that's the only thing we really haven't seen in Dalinar's whole thing, which is a
we should get some more stuff in the last part then.
hopefully, yeah. Um, yeah. Then they're meet everybody about the defenses. Renarin looks uncomfortable and excuses himself. So maybe he's seeing this future or something.
Before we get there, though,
Yeah.
So the Stormfather mentions that Honor used to care for humans and used to have passion, but then became obsessed with oaths for the sake of the oaths near the end. So, excuse me, I'm short of breath. Um, and so like he changed at the end of like towards the end of his life before he died. And
Yeah.
then Teravantian says it's not a day to be heartless, so I worry. So I'm pretty sure he's having a very intelligent day.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
which would make sense when he gives all the information.
Yeah.
But back to Renarin during the meeting, and
Yeah. Renard leaves. Uh, maybe he's not in Risen's. Um, maybe he goes and finds Risen because maybe he had a thing in the future that the perfect gem was getting stolen. That's why he leaves.
hey,
He
that's a
saw it.
good catch.
Yeah, maybe. Because he wants the perfect gems or the gemstones for some reason. I don't know. That might be some. Um, then we get a bunch of shit. We're getting an early Everstorm. Like the pattern has changed now. And they're worried about their ships, but it seems like that's gonna be kind of okay. Um, then we get a translation from Ela Estelle, which is from the Dawn Champ. They've been able to translate it, and this is basically like that humans basically came from another planet and invaded. They were first given Shinovar to settle. That's why Shin has all the stuff from Earth. But then we expanded, we fought, we had big fights back in the day. Um, which uh, and, that caused recreants for some reason. Then uh yes, then we get Finn, we get them all learning that Dalinar was gonna be the High King, and that freaks out Finn and everybody. And then we also learn that Dalinar has met with Odium, and that further like breaks their trust with Dalinar, and it's bad. There's lots of shouting, and he realizes that he's been outflanked. Screwed.
Yeah, that craziness, like chaos, just pure chaos. It was a very exciting chapter, though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Where do
Un-
you what planet you think they originally came from?
there is another planet in this system, so maybe they're like Braze, I think was the name of it. Um, and we know that it's like Braze is like damnation, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the name for the place, and we know that's a real place. So maybe that's it because we know they destroyed it. They destroyed their planet with made it uninhabitable with their surges. So maybe that's it.
It's it's Earth.
It's
Is
Earth.
it? Yep. I mean, they have chickens.
They have chickens that are also pirates,
Parrots.
parrots.
Yeah. It's Earth, and their surges were nuclear bombs.
Yeah,
I'm calling it now.
there you go.
The surge of nuclear energy.
Yeah,
We invest money. We actually do it on Earth. We invest a turbine.
yeah. Atomic destabilization.
Yeah, that's a pretty good power. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it is.
All right, calling
All
it
right,
now. All right.
112.
112. Jeez, so many. Kaladin. This is where we get some we get to meet his girlfriend Tara. He's like a young, officer, and then she's like, "Guess what? I'm leaving to go get a better job." And he's like, "I'll come with you." And she's like, "No, you won't." And he's like, "No, I won't." And then that kind of happens. Uh, yeah, he needs to care for the living, not the dead. Um, which Kaladin has a very hard time doing. Um, and then they're walking to Phelan City, and they see an army of Spren, and it's gonna be bad. So they have to figure out a way to get through that, and that's a cliffhanger for next time on
Yeah,
Dragon Ball Z.
I next time on Dragon Ball Z. Uh, I've been asking for more information on Terra, and we got it. It wasn't much, but at least we know what happened.
Yeah, wasn't much. I don't think she's gonna come back.
Probably not. I mean, I'm satisfied with what happened there.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking she might be a bigger character, but it seems like she had her reason for existing now, so it's kind of fulfilled. So I don't think we'll see her again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. All right, last one for the interludes. Oof. Chapter 113, Thing Men Do Best. It's the Dalinar chapter. He is shown alone because him being there is just makes it's gonna make things worse. They're all like talking about him and stuff. Um and they he they find out that like uh the Requiems happen because not because they found out the truth, but also to save the world. They're gonna blow up the world with their surges, I guess. Unless they, but I don't think they found nuclear surge, so I think they're good. Um, yeah. Oh, we get the name of their home? Yeah. Um, so I'm curious why the surges blew up their world. Um, yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it named the world. I think I
No.
would have made a note of it if it did.
Yeah. I don't think they
Unless this
did
was one time where I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to make a note of that important thing.
that important thing.
Out of all the
Could
things that I do make notes of, you know?
yeah. Then like we find out like Honor was able to like each time the Radiance would find out he was able to like console them, but then when he was dead, it was just the Radiance themselves. So they kind of that's why the recurrence happened once once Honor was dead. Um yeah yeah things are bad. You know all the monarchs are kind of
So the Tranquilin Halls is the name of the place. Like that's an actual place. Um, so it says
maybe
here, a quote I have here, but in the days leading to the recreance, Honor was dying. When that generation of knights learned the truth, Honor did not support them. So he wasn't dead yet, but he didn't support them. He raved. Speaking of the Dawn Shards, ancient weapons used to destroy the Tranquilin Halls. Honor promised that Surge Binders would do the same to Roshar.
so I guess we need to figure out what the Dawn Shards are.
Maybe
Um,
they're maybe they're in Akina. Maybe that's what's in Akina.
maybe makes sense why they kill everybody that goes there. Um, yeah, then basically
I want to know what a Dawn Shard is, man.
well, there's that novella or whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna find out, right? Huh?
Yeah. Then basically the coalition breaks up and it's bad.
Yeah, and Terra Vengeance says, "I cannot support you anymore, Dalinar."
Yeah, because I never did. Wahaha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't tell him he never did, but
Yeah, but we know.
We do know.
Um,
All right. The thing that men do best is live a lie.
yeah.
They don't just lie, they live a lie.
Mhm.
All right, you want to move on to the interludes?
Yeah, so we got Interlude 12, Rhythm of Withdrawal. This is Vinley. She's continuing to tell her story of the listeners. She's no longer able to answer questions about them. So she's wondering, why, the Fuse and stuff are afraid of her people because, despite using them as a propaganda, and if she knew about her people's history, she should be like, oh yeah, they're the ones that betrayed their oaths and ran away from Odium. Of course, they don't want them to know that much about him. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, then she's basically gonna go fight Thalen City. She's gonna be in part 5.
Yeah. She got pulled by a fused
Yeah,
and onto the ship, and it was like, we're sailing away right now. You don't have time to grab anything else. She's like, but luckily she had Timber with her.
luckily she did.
He doesn't get left behind.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got next one is Risen. Like I said previously, this is happening during the other chapter with Dalinar, and then we learn out. Risen is now basically really bored, and she's an auditor for the Thalen Gemstone Reserve. She's basically in Fort Knox. Um, she has her Larkin, which we now know is named Chiri Chiri, uh, who is very cute. Um, she yeah, she got her position from Bastim, who we see comes back, and he is now the Minister of Trade. He was able to duck out of the meeting with Dalinar, so that's how we know of that. Um, and he's going to be the auditor. He's going to inspect the gems. So then they go down to Fort Knox. Uh, you know, she's in her wheelchair and stuff.
Uh,
Um,
she, he he brings a ruby for Chiri Chiri and then a rope and a deed to a ship that he called the Wander Sail
yeah.
to
So
give to Risen.
yeah, to give to her to
Sorry,
um yeah,
that's important information.
it is, yes. Um yeah, because he's like, just because you're injured doesn't mean you can just stay locked up here forever. You wanna be a master trader, so here you go. Um so yeah, then they go down and inspect the gems. Uh
I like how they mention this unnamed Queen's Guard several times.
yeah. So they're inspecting the stuff. This is where we learn about the King's Drop, which is what I'm pretty sure is a perfect gem from the Kynid realm because it has kept Stormlight for 200 years. Then it's pretty cool if a stem gets like stabbed in the back. It's very sudden and crazy. There's a big fight. Um, it's very cool. Uh, her Larkin ends up drinking from the gym, and it grows bigger. They end up killing uh the intruder, who ends up being a fuse that can light weave, which is cool. So whatever form that is. And
The Larkin sucked the void light out of him,
yeah,
which caused his disguise to drop.
yep. Yeah, so then maybe the stem is dead. We don't really know, and then that's gonna happen. So hopefully Renarin goes and heals him, if that's where he was going.
Yeah. For some
Yeah,
reason, I missed the Renarin connection. I like that. Um,
yeah, I kind of just thought of that on the fly, just seeing him. leave the thing, and since now that I know those were happening at the same time.
Yeah, I didn't even realize they were happening at the same time. Um, I
The
don't
only re
I don't know why I didn't. It's obvious,
No,
but
you only realize that when he's like, I got out of a meeting with those stuffy Alethi. And, um,
I mean, I knew she was in Thalen's. I knew this was before the invasion happened.
mm,
Um, but yeah, I totally missed the. Oh yeah, I got out of this meeting.
yeah, that's the only
Um,
reason I caught it. I was like, oh, that's cool.
yeah,
Yes, final one.
hold on.
Oh, you got more
Yeah,
stuff?
no, yeah, I was gonna say mention some stuff that I thought was pretty cool. All right, I have a theory. Like I want to know that there's probably more than one perfect gemstone in this vault, maybe. And I wonder if Wit is looking for a gemstone he may have lost at some time.
Maybe.
Because he was the keeper of the was it the first gemstone? Is that what his name was? Or they mentioned in the epigraphs in book one?
Did they mention that? I don't remember.
It was one of the letters. It
Oh,
was like
okay.
the keeper of the first gemstone or something. Um,
Then possibly.
and then yeah, the King's Drop is they say it's a chunk off of the Stone of 10 Dawns. Um, so there's that 10 again. Um, I read somewhere as well. So in the book, I've noticed they used word dozen and dozens a lot. But I read somewhere that Sanderson wrote dozen in there because it's easier for us to just say dozen, but it actually means 10 on Roshar. Um,
No, no, it doesn't.
yeah, it does.
No,
Yeah. Why would it be 12 and not 10?
that's stupid.
Um,
Just write 10. That's the same. That's an easy word. It's less letters.
hmm, eh,
You
whatever.
can't just make up words like that.
You can if
Mm,
look,
no, you can't.
all right. If it's not base 10, how do you if you're working with a base 12 or base 15 or any other base number system
Yeah.
and you're having to tell it to people and have them understand it, what are you going to do?
I don't know. Either don't do that or write a good way to do it. Can't just say like, oh, dozen means 10. No, no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It's just like how in like Wheel of Time, like a week is like 17 days or something. Like a week is 7 days. I don't care what the week is in Roshar, it's 7 days.
A week in Roshar is 5 days. A week in
Nah, it's
Wheel of
7 days.
Time is 10.
Yeah, all that stuff's dumb.
Yeah.
Like no one cares about that stuff, and so it doesn't matter. Like nobody's like, oh, 5 days, blah blah blah. Like it's just make the words mean what the words mean.
Now, let me give a good point for having it because it tells you the size of the planet and how close it is to its star.
Sure, but it still doesn't matter. You
It
should
could,
just, but
but
you should make another word for week then. But
no.
you can't say like it's like dozen is 10. No, you can't do that. I'm sorry. I call bullshit.
Okay. I mean, hey, I'm not the one that did it. Don't
Yeah.
crucify me.
No, it's just like the thing is you can say that, but the readers are not gonna interpret it as that. Right? Like Wheel of Time, right? They might have said a week is 10 days or something like once, but every time the reader reads a week has passed, you're like, oh, 7 days has passed. Like this, like 5 days or whatever. But then, oh, a high storm comes every week. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a week, it's 7 days or whatever. Like you're gonna interpret that because it's what the word means. Even though it's maybe not technically true, but also it doesn't matter practically in the world. So one way is my complaint doesn't matter. It's just annoying. when they like make words not mean what words mean.
Yeah.
Because it really doesn't matter either way. Just me being kind of a little annoying, pedantic.
Okay. All right, let's move on to Teft.
Theft. All right. Uh, so yeah, theft. He's going back to the barracks. Everyone's bunch of people are dead. Rock's not dead. Um, but everybody's messed up. The honor blade has been stolen. They got it from a sergeant wearing Teft's coat, and Teft is very sad and runs away.
Yeah.
So the honor blade's out in the wind. Who has it? Nobody knows. Probably the ghost blades.
Yeah, I don't know at this point. I don't know if Teft has actually bonded the Spring yet. Or
She said that you said the oaths. You said the words.
okay, so he said the second ideal.
Yeah,
It's encouraging him to say the third ideal,
I think so.
and then
At least, yeah,
it warns him that something is wrong and to run. And so he goes in, yeah, finds that Eth is dead and Bissig and Rock are cut up pretty badly.
yep,
That's sad.
yeah. There is.
Yeah. All
That's,
right, we made it.
they probably would find another way to get in.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Maybe it was I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of somebody really badass to be able to take down all those good board members. Like
This it's Odium Spy.
and a person wielding an honor blade. Like that's pretty crazy when you think about it.
Is Mulata.
Anything.
It could be Mulata.
Uh yeah, I guess. Oh, I mean, her face is pretty well known. I think it's a him. A short man, Alethi. Some who is short man? Because Moraes is fairly tall, right?
Gaz is short.
Gaz is short. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Well,
I think they would recognize Gaz though. Motherfucking
what if
Gaz.
he was a light weaver?
Ah, true. Ooh, that's cool. I
We
guess
haven't seen him, and he wasn't with. He didn't go to Kolinar.
yeah, maybe. It's Moash.
Or it could be Ayatel in a disguise,
Yeah,
right? Because she was trying to take. Well, Talanet didn't have his honor blade when she was trying to take him or kill him.
yeah,
I think she was trying to kill him.
and the shard blade he had was not an honor blade. It's kind of
The shard blade that Talanet had was not an
weird.
honor.
Yeah, because that's the one that Dalinar bonds.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know why it's not an honor blade. So we don't know where that one is. If it's still in, maybe Odium has that one.
So did Talanet have? No, that wouldn't have been a Spren. That would, huh?
Yeah, that's the weird thing. I don't know. But it's definitely not honor blade because he has to, he hears the screams and stuff and has to like just uh you know get rid of it when he binds the Stormfather.
Yeah. I just had the fear that I didn't hit record. That would have sucked.
But that would have sucked.
Um, all right. So next, what are the point of views? There's 9 chapters and there's 9 point of views.
We get the Knights Radiant, Ash, Navani, Adolin, Teravangian, Gox, Polona, which is interesting. Veer,
Vire, yeah.
Fire, and Wit. Do we know Fire?
I know, but you don't.
Okay.
Well, that's just because I remember. Um, awesome. So next week we are going to cover all of part five. It's not as long as the past two sections.
Thankfully.
Um, and then the next week we're gonna take a break. We might do just a little chat or something, kind of review and kind of maybe try to remember some of our theories or something if we want to have a short episode. But
Cool.
um, I'll be on a cruise from Thanksgiving, um, and I mean cruise vacation from Thanksgiving until I return the like following Tuesday, Wednesday.
Should be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a Disney cruise, so um, yeah. But when we after that, so we'll have a break week. We might have a short episode just discussing whatever. We'll figure something out if we want to. And
Yeah.
then the next week we'll pick up on Dawn Shard.
Have you read that one?
I have not read Dawn Shard,
No.
so that
It's
will
the
be completely new.
But you've read book four. Was it out? Did it come out after book four?
I don't know. I think it came out before book four. But yeah, book the Oathbringer and book four I've only read once, and they're so big that like there's some things I remember, but the majority I do not remember.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, I mean, when something big and like crazy happens, like super crazy, you remember it. But other little things that change and like, oh,
Yeah. Like this
um,
book, all I remember really is the Kolinar stuff, which we've already seen, and then some of the stuff vaguely of what happens in the next part.
yeah, I have vague memories of that as well. So some of them, some of them mesh. I can't tell if they're from the end of this book or the end of the fourth book. So
Yeah, after this book, I will be completely blind. Everything. No.
yeah, I can't wait till I'm completely blind as well.
Oh, it's what 2 weeks from now or whatever when we read Dawn Shard.
Well, yeah, but Dawn Shard, like I still know the events, some of the events after Dawn Shard.
Yeah,
Uh,
yep. But yeah, book five. It's gonna be crazy.
and
And then we'll have to figure out what to do after book five.
after book five, I may we may do Sunlit Man. Um, and there's reasons, but I won't give any reasons. I won't explain the reasons.
Eh,
Um, because they could be spoiler-ish somewhat. So,
cool.
although yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if I would want to read it after book four or after book five.
Well, you got time to figure it out.
Yeah. It is a fun book, I will say that.
That's
But
good. I own it, so
yeah.
that's good. All right,
All
man.
right. Oh, if
That was
y'all have made
fun.
it this far, thank you. Appreciate you. Like, follow, share, subscribe, leave a rating or a review. Please visit our sponsor, Mudcat Whiskers, at www.mudcatwhiskers.com. Use code paperweights at checkout. And so this episode will be released after the winner of the um, giveaway has been now announced. Actually, two winners of the giveaway. Um, so I partnered up with Cosmere Junkie and um, donated a book to give away, and Mudcat Whiskers donated a $50 gift card for each to go along with each book for the giveaway. So, um, I obviously don't know right now who won it, but congratulations to the winner, and I'll announce those and congratulate them with their name on the next episode.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.